Now they're being hunted by the enemies of the Northern Sea Nation's Imperial Sheaf family, so they can only stay with the Feng family for a while. Long Yu explained to Feng Chang'e. All right, I got it. But it's not convenient for them to show themselves here. Otherwise, it would be bad if they attracted the attention of the Northern Sea Nation. Feng Chang'e reminded. Don't worry, Godfather. Elder Shi and Xiao Wu know what they are doing. Long Yu said and then asked, how has the Feng family been recently? Did anyone make things difficult for you? Now our Feng family has a firm foothold in the Tang Imperial City. Even the top 3 families don't dare to make trouble for us. Don't worry. Feng Chang'e laughed heartily and then told him what had happened in the past 2 years. When the people who participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection returned, Long Yu was not among them. Yu Qianing even brought back news that Long Yu had died in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection. This news made Feng Chang'e depressed for a while. Fortunately, Yi Luan from the Star Sea came and brought 2 Kong Xingyong, Deng Shun, and Qi Shui to help. Coupled with the fact that the 3 heroes of the Feng family had stepped into the rank 9 True Spirit, the Feng family was able to hold on. Not long after, Feng Chang'e returned to his former image and led the entire Feng family. Only then did the Feng family regain its momentum. Now, the Feng family was in the limelight throughout the entire Tang Empire. Everyone was guessing when the Feng family would have a celestial being's secret realm cultivator. Then they would be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the top 3 families. Lu Yuan's father, Lu Qing, is everything okay now? Long Yu asked. I'm fine. Lu Yuan has been taking care of me. I'm doing very well. Feng Chang'e waved his hand and smiled. Lu Yuan has also reached the rank 8 True Spirit. Time really flies. Long Yu was a little emotional. Speaking of this, Feng Chang'e patted Long Yu on the shoulder and said, Lu Yuan, that girl, misses you a lot. When the news of you dying in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection came, that girl cried for several days. Later, she shut herself in her room and refused to come out. No matter how hard we tried to persuade her, she just got a little better recently. From what I see, that lass has deep feelings for you. Why don't you think about it? Forget it. Long Yu obviously knew what Feng Chang'e wanted him to think about, but he only smiled bitterly and said, I'm in a very dangerous situation right now. I have many enemies. It's really not the time to think about such things. Otherwise, I'll only be harming her in the end. Dangerous? Feng Chang'e frowned slightly and said, if you can't handle it, I'll go all out and ask Yiluan to protect you. I did join the Yellow Sand Sky City where he is, but I can't always let him handle some things. Long Yu shook his head and then smiled. Don't worry, Godfather. I know what I'm doing. It's just that this is not the time to talk about love. Sigh, you little brat. Feng Chang'e could only shake his head helplessly. You don't know. When the news of you came back, other than Lu Yuan, there was a girl who cried for a long time. Who was it? Long Yu was a little curious. The girl from the Jintian clan, the girl with the surname Liao. Feng Chang'e said. How is she recently? Long Yu asked. She's been cultivating with Elder Bai, and her alchemy skills have improved. She's quite famous in Great Tang. Feng Chang'e said. It's good that she's fine. Long Yu heaved a sigh of relief. Yusen also cried for a long time. Feng Chang'e added. This time, Long Yu had nothing to say. He really didn't expect that his death would make so many people sad and shed tears. Ling Yue is also crying her eyes out. Feng Chang'e said. Long Yu was even more speechless. Was there no end to them one after another? He could not possibly go and comfort them one by one, right? Comforting girls had never been Long Yu's strong suit. Moreover, he could not reveal the fact that he was still alive to too many people. Otherwise, it would bring disaster to those who knew. I'd better not greet them. Long Yu shook his head and made a decision. He then asked, by the way, Godfather, has Elder Yin ever come back in the past 2 years? You mean Yin Huanma, the one from the Jintian clan who joined the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate? Feng Chang'e's eyes lit up. She'd come back. Because she joined the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate, the whole Jintian clan rose. You don't know, but the Jintian clan is much stronger than the so-called Wuzong of Tang. As the saying went, when a man achieved the Tao, his chickens and dogs also ascended to heaven. As an elder of the Jintian clan, Yin Huanma passed the sacred selection of Heavenly Mandate and joined the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate, which undoubtedly made the Jintian clan rise. Even many martial arts practitioners in Jianghu sent their children to the Jintian clan, although they were not qualified to join any clan, in the hope that they would have a better cultivation environment in the future. In this way, the Jintian clan developed very quickly in the past 2 years. When Long Yu first joined the Jintian clan, the whole Jintian clan had no more than 100 people who entered the real spirit secret realm. But now, the whole Jintian clan had 300 to 400 masters in the real spirit secret realm, which was far more than the number of Wuzong of Tang and other clans. Logically speaking, Chu Chaosheng would be unhappy to see this situation. But Yin Huanma came back once and had entered the heavenly being secret realm, which meant that Chu Chaosheng had completely lost the qualification to fight against the Jintian clan. Chu Chaosheng was just a representative chosen by the Chu clan to manage the trivial affairs of the country. The real power holder was Chu Yulong, the emperor of the Chu clan. Even Chu Yulong, the emperor, had to respectfully call Yin Huanma messenger when he saw her. How would Chu Chaosheng dare to be disrespectful to the Jintian clan? Chu Chaosheng had completely fallen. His era had passed. Although Long Yu was already dead in Chu Chaosheng's eyes, he was not a winner in life. In front of Yin Huanma in the heavenly being secret realm, Chu Chaosheng was just a small fry. Long Yu was not interested in beating a dog when it was down. Even if he did not do it, there were many people who would be happy to do it. Moreover, if he really wanted to deal with Chu Chaosheng, he would have to deal with Chu Yulong. Although Long Yu did not need to care about Chu Yulong and could even defeat him with one move. Chu Yulong was the emperor of the Tang Empire after all. If Long Yu were to get rid of Chu Yulong, it would mean that the power of the entire Tang Empire would be weakened. It would not be good for the Jintian clan and the Feng clan. Godfather, take these. Long Yu thought about it and took out the various treasures that he had obtained from the ancient dragon bone tower from the abyss space. Long Yu kept the ores and herbs for himself. After all, they were very high-grade materials. Feng Chang'e would not be able to use them. However, Long Yu took out the other treasures, such as the soul of exotic beasts and the origin of abyss, that could be absorbed to improve one's martial Dao realm. This is the soul of exotic beasts, and this is the origin of abyss. Long Yu explained, absorbing it will improve a lot. Godfather, since I'm here, you should absorb the origin of abyss. It will help you break through the bottleneck and step into the heavenly being secret realm. I'm only in the rank 8 true spirit. It would be a waste to consume the origin of abyss. Why don't I call Yusin over? Feng Chang'e said after some thought. All right. Hearing this, Long Yu nodded his head. After all, Yusin was a member of the younger generation of the Feng clan. She was very talented. If she consumed the origin of abyss, it would be more likely for her to step into the heavenly being secret realm than Feng Chang'e. Chapter 387. The resources that Long Yu had brought back from the ancient Dragon Bone Pagoda would be enough to completely transform any faction in the Tang Empire. It was the same for the Feng clan. Dozens of beast souls were enough to increase the cultivation of dozens of people by 1 level. The source of the 9 underworlds could increase the chances of those in the rank 9 true spirits stepping into the celestial secret realm. Once one stepped into the celestial secret realm, the difference between them and ordinary martial cultivators was like the difference between clouds and mud. Even 10 experts in the rank 9 true spirit together would find it difficult to defeat one in the initial human realm. That was the difference. Long Yu was able to defeat a celestial secret realm expert when he was in the rank 9 true spirit because of the dragon seal of 9 underworlds. Otherwise, he would not have been able to overcome this gap. Although I can still use the source of the 9 underworlds, it is not very meaningful to me. The source of the 9 underworlds was not something that everyone could only use once, but Long Yu still chose to give it to the Feng clan. That was the only way he could truly be at ease with the Feng clan. As long as someone from the Feng clan stepped into the celestial secret realm, Under the protection of the Starry Wheel, there would be very few people in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent who could touch the Feng clan. Very few people could threaten the Feng clan. That way, Long Yu could focus on his own matters. Participating in the Great Selection, looking for his father Long Zaiqian. No matter which one it was too far away for the others in the Tang Empire. It was not that Long Yu looked down on the Feng clan, but that even if they were with Long Yu, they would not be of much help. As my cultivation level gets higher and higher, there will be a gap between me and everyone else. This is the Heavenly Mandate continent. This is the Shenwu world, a world of martial arts, a world where martial arts are respected. Long Yu sighed to himself. No matter how many friends he made now, they would not be able to fight with him when the time came, because he had the dragon seal of 9 underworlds and was destined to be stronger than others. Perhaps Long Yu was carrying something that he did not know. He still did not know what the dragon seal of 9 underworlds represented. After leaving behind those resources, Long Yu believed that Fengyu Xian would be able to use the origin of the 9 underworlds to enter the heavenly being realm. The strength of the entire Feng family would increase tremendously. Long Yu did not stay in the Feng family for long. After he passed the items to Feng Chang'e, he flew towards the sky Soul Ghost Valley without waiting for Feng Yusen to come over. There are still 4 months until the Great Selection. Within these 4 months, Long Yu had to increase his cultivation as fast as possible. Staying in the Tang Empire was not a good choice for him. Long Yu flew high in the sky and soon left the territory of the Great Tang Empire, entering the sky territory of the ancient Meng Empire. Man Yi from Gumeng became a disciple of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate realm together with Elder Yin. I wonder how he is now. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't descend to look for them, because he knew that the disciples of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate realm rarely left the Northern Academy. Most of the time, they cultivated in the Northern Academy. The possibility of him going down to see Man Yi was slim. He quickly flew past the territory of the ancient Meng Empire, crossed the outer mountains of the Sky Soul Ghost Valley, and entered the sky of the Sky Soul Ghost Valley. After entering the Heavenly Being realm, Long Yu's flying speed was much faster than before, and it was much easier. He could fly for 10 days and 10 nights without feeling tired. So fast. The Butterfly Valley is just up ahead. Long Yu sighed from the bottom of his heart. The Heavenly Being realm was the barrier between heaven and man. When he thought that he had once defeated a cultivator of the Heavenly Being realm with the strength of the true Spirit Secret realm, he felt that it was a little unbelievable, but it really happened to him. All of this was given to him by the Dragon Seal of 9 underworlds. Without the Dragon Seal of 9 underworlds, even if he could enter the martial arts path, he would not have achieved what he had today. Because he was an expert of the Heavenly Being realm, even if he swaggered across the sky of the Sky Soul Ghost Valley, no demonic beast dared to stop him. Based on the route in his memory, Long Yu quickly approached the location of the Hidden Bones Abyss. Looking from afar, a gloomy aura of the dead rose from the abyss, which made people's hair stand on end. Descend. Long Yu came to the sky above the Hidden Bones Abyss, and with a thought, he descended. Suddenly, he saw a scene on the cliff, and his expression changed slightly. The place where the Soaring Kong tribe is hiding has been blasted into a big hole, and it seems that there is no longer any breath of life in it. Long Yu could not help but be curious, and flew into the big hole. In the past, the Soaring Kong tribe had built many complicated tunnels in the cliff to avoid the encirclement of the Ghost Sect tribe, but now, most of these tunnels have been blasted into pieces. In the collapsed rock stratum, Long Yu could see many corpses of the Ghost Valley tribe at a glance. It was obvious that the entire Soaring Kong tribe had suffered a great battle, and the casualties were heavy. Indeed, there is no one alive, but I don't see any corpses of familiar people. Could it be that, after this battle, the Soaring Kong tribe moved to another place? Long Yu thought in his heart, and then shook his head. What happened to the Soaring Kong tribe, for now, had nothing to do with him. He just remembered that he had come here before, so he went in to have a look out of curiosity, but he did not expect that the place had changed beyond recognition. Soon, Long Yu left the cliff and glided down to the bottom of the Hidden Bones abyss. Waves of dead spirit aura constantly surged, but fortunately, there was no dead spirit storm. So Long Yu could smoothly pass through this dead spirit aura. Based on the location in his memory, Long Yu quickly found the dark green lake. "Old man, I have come to see you," Long Yu shouted and landed on the edge of the dark green lake. Just as he expected, the old man Wang Chongfeng was still locked by the god-restraining lock and was imprisoned in this dark green lake. Hearing Long Yu's voice, the old man in ragged clothes raised his head and chuckled. "Brat, you have entered the heaven realm so quickly, impressive. It has been 4 years, and you still say it is fast?" Long Yu said lightly. "From the 5th level of the true spirit realm to the heaven realm in 4 years. Is that not fast?" Wang Chongfeng snorted coldly. "Brat, don't be dissatisfied. This process, some people can spend 40 years and still can't achieve it. How long did it take you?" Long Yu asked. "I am talented, but even so, it took me 5 years to break through from the 9th level of the true spirit realm to the heaven realm." Wang Chongfeng said calmly, "But it is good for me that your martial realm is improving so quickly." "What? Are you expecting me to kill your 3 disciples?" Long Yu smiled casually and sat down cross-legged by the lake. "Of course, with your talent, you are much better than those 3 brats." Wang Chongfeng chuckled. "Forget it. I now know that your first disciple is the master of the Thundercloud Fortress, and he has probably entered the heavenly tribulation realm." Long Yu shook his head. "A heavenly tribulation realm? I am tired of living. That is why I went looking for trouble with him. He has become a master?" Wang Chongfeng was shocked. "So, even if I can leave this place now, I will not be a match for that brat. What was your cultivation before you were locked here?" Long Yu asked. "Since you've already entered the heavenly being's secret realm, there's no harm in telling you. Before I was trapped here, I had already entered the heavenly calamity realm. I'm only 1 step away from mastering the innate skills and taking that historic step forward." As Wang Chongfeng spoke, he became a little excited. Innate magic? Long Yu was unfamiliar with this term. Above the heaven realm is the innate magic realm. Once you comprehend the innate magic, you can break through the 1,000 layers of heavenly spirit and leave the heavenly mandate continent. As Wang Chongfeng spoke, he looked at Long Yu. "Do you know that there is a power called divine script in this world?" Yes, the people of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm generally comprehend the power of the fighting character, and their combat ability is not bad. Long Yu nodded. "Combat ability is not bad?" Wang Chongfeng shook his head. "Let me tell you, the power of the divine script is even stronger than the heavenly crystal law. The so-called innate magic is the way to use the divine script. Once you enter the innate magic realm, you can completely use the power of the divine script. Even a few hundred old guys in the heavenly tribulation realm are no match for a cultivator in the innate magic realm. So above the heaven realm is the innate magic realm." Long Yu suddenly understood, but he was a little confused. "Then you said that as long as you comprehend the heavenly crystal law, you can leave the heavenly mandate continent. What is that about?" "That is just a coincidence." Wang Chongfeng sighed and said, "If you can comprehend the laws of the heavenly crystal level, you will be able to attract the attention of powerful clans and forces outside of the heavenly mandate continent, and they will take you away from the heavenly mandate continent. But if you rely on yourself, even comprehending the laws of the heavenly crystal level won't be enough. You must comprehend at least 1 innate magical power. Did Yu Qingsha comprehend the innate magic on her own? Or did she comprehend the heavenly crystal law and was taken away by a foreign martial cultivator?" Long Yu asked suddenly. "How could she have the talent to comprehend the innate magic on her own? Wait, how do you know about Yu Qingsha?" Wang Chongfeng was stunned. "Do you think I lived these past 4 years in vain?" Long Yu rolled his eyes and said without any trace of politeness. Wang Chongfeng couldn't help but fall silent. After a long time, he finally continued to speak and told him about Yu Qingsha. It turned out that more than 20 years ago, when Wang Chongfeng had just become the Lord of Thundercloud Fortress, He had taken a fancy to a genius girl in the heavenly mandate continent, Yu Sha. However, she had always been distant. This made Wang Changfeng extremely unhappy. In the heavenly mandate continent, as the ultimate cultivator in the heavenly tribulation realm, how could there be something that he couldn't get? He could have as many women as he wanted, but this Yu Sha didn't buy it all. Chapter 388. At that time, Yu Sha was only at the heavenly beginning realm, but she used Wang Changfeng's love for her to trick him into a desperate situation. Then, she went to participate in the Great Selection alone. Finally, because she comprehended the heavenly crystal-level laws, she was chosen by foreign cultivators and brought away from the heavenly mandate continent. Wang Changfeng narrowly escaped death and spent 3 years to leave that desperate situation, only to find that Yu Sha had long since left, and he had lost the opportunity to participate in the Great Selection. The Great Selection was held once every 20 years, and only cultivators under 40 could participate. After 20 years, Wang Changfeng would have long since passed 40 years of age and naturally would not be qualified to participate. Even so, Wang Changfeng was not discouraged. He was now a cultivator of the tribulation realm and had enough time to break through to the secret realm, comprehend the primordial divine powers, and leave the heavenly mandate continent with his own strength. Unfortunately, Wang Changfeng underestimated Yu Sha's scheming. After only 3 years, Yu Sha actually returned and used Wang Changfeng's 3 disciples to trick him out of the Thundercloud Fortress. The flying crow Du Sun, the soul-chasing evil ghost Ning Yixing, and the ingrate Lei Wensheng had all coveted the crying heaven's blood cultivation method for a long time. Under Yu Sha's temptation, the 3 decisively betrayed Wang Changfeng and joined forces with Yu Sha to capture Wang Changfeng. However, the 3 did not expect that Yu Sha had no intention of teaching them the crying heaven's blood cultivation method and had already made preparations. When they captured Wang Changfeng, Yu Sha's curse took effect and the 3 fainted. Then, Wang Changfeng was brought to the bottom of the bone-hiding abyss and imprisoned by Yu Sha with the God-restraining seal until now. Yu Sha left and returned. Logically speaking, only those who have entered the secret realm can break through the 1,000 layers of heavenly spirits and return. Why does she still need to use your 3 disciples? Long Yu was somewhat puzzled. You're wrong. No matter how talented Yu Sha is, it is impossible for her to enter the secret realm from the heavenly beginning realm in 6 years. Wang Changfeng shook his head and said she was able to come back because she met a man in the transcendent secret realm in the outside world. He brought her back. As for the grudge between us, I left it to her to settle on her own. She said that she wanted to break through the obstacles in her heart of martial arts. Wang Changfeng's eyes flashed with malevolence as he spoke. That man was watching from the side the entire time. He watched as Yu Sha used her methods to capture me, imprison me, and then leave with Yu Sha in his arms. I'll never forget that back view for the rest of my life. Your story is quite tragic. Long Yu shrugged. Stop making sarcastic remarks. Wang Changfeng glared at him. I say, old man, since that's the case, why don't you think about how you're going to take revenge on Yu Sha and that man? You're actually holding a grudge against your 3 disciples. Don't you think you're lacking in ambition? Long Yu said with a relaxed smile. Although Wang Changfeng's story was tragic, it had nothing to do with Long Yu. What he wanted to do now was to find out more information that would be useful to him. So what if I'm lacking in ambition? Wang Changfeng sighed. This God-restraining lock is a treasure she brought in from the outside world. With the standards of the heavenly mandate continent, it's impossible to open it. I can't even deal with my 3 disciples, let alone deal with that bitch and her man. I can try to undo the chains for you. Long Yu glanced at the shackles in the blue water and said, Hee, young man, don't be too arrogant. Wang Changfeng didn't hold any hope for this at all. He chuckled and said, if you can undo this God-restraining lock, doesn't that mean you're stronger than everyone in the heavenly mandate continent? It's hard to say. Long Yu squinted his eyes. At this moment, the feeling he got from looking at the God-restraining lock was completely different from the feeling he got from looking at the God-restraining lock 4 years ago. 4 years ago, this God-restraining lock gave him a feeling of desolation, as if once he was trapped by it, there was no chance of escape. But now, as soon as he saw this God-restraining lock, he felt that he could break it and make it his own. The divine script of you. Long you had been suppressing the urge to release the divine script of you. He talked so much with Wang Changfeng just for this moment. Tell me, what do you want from me, you brat? For coming to see me? Wang Changfeng also knew that Long Yu wouldn't come to him for no reason. Now that he came to see him, how could he not have a purpose? It's very simple. I'll try to take the God-restraining lock away. If you're free, you'll tell me everything you know, including the cultivation method of tears of heaven's blood. What do you think? Long Yu straightforwardly stated his conditions. Boy, are you serious? Wang Changfeng's eyes gradually became serious. He originally thought that Long Yu was joking, but now looking at Long Yu, it didn't seem like he was joking. Of course it's true. Long Yu nodded solemnly. Lad, there might really be something special about you for you to be able to enter the heavenly being realm within 4 years. Wang Changfeng sized up Long Yu carefully and nodded. If you can really break the God-restraining lock, is there anything I can't teach you? You said it yourself. Long Yu stood up. The power of the divine script of you in his body had already made him eager to make a move on the God-restraining lock. This was something he had not expected before coming here. Initially, Long Yu had only wanted to see if he could get some information from Wang Changfeng and a secret skill to conceal his aura. However, since he could obtain the God-restraining lock, there was no need for him to hold back. As for the issue of Wang Changfeng's safety after releasing him, there was no one else around. Long Yu could release the ancient dragon skeleton tower and take Wang Changfeng in. Wouldn't the old man have to listen to him after entering the ancient dragon skeleton tower? Of course, if Wang Changfeng had kept his promise, Long Yu would not have taken the risk of exposing the ancient dragon skeleton tower to deal with this old man. Wang Changfeng frowned when he saw Long Yu stand up and emit an aura that seemed to come from the netherworld. This lad did seem to have something special about him. Immediately after, Long Yu raised his hand, and the power of the divine script of you broke through the emerald lake water and penetrated the God-restraining lock between Wang Changfeng's feet. Snap! With a crisp sound, Wang Changfeng and Long Yu were overjoyed. Wang Changfeng never imagined that Long Yu, this brat, would actually be able to break the God-restricting lock and allow him to regain his freedom. This was simply too inconceivable. As for Long Yu, he felt that the power of the divine script of you was weakened by the God-restraining lock the moment it came into contact with the God-restraining lock. However, the divine script of you suddenly erupted with an even stronger power and shattered the God-restraining lock. Following that, Long Yu felt that his mind had formed a connection with the God-restraining lock. The divine script of you had taken the opportunity to break into the God-restraining lock and control the treasure, turning it into a weapon owned by Long Yu. It's indeed a weapon, but not an ordinary one. It's a heaven-level weapon. Long Yu's eyes were filled with joy. How could one obtain a heaven-level weapon in the heavenly mandate continent? Even an earth-level weapon was extremely rare and could only be found in the 7 major forces of the Tiangang realm. As for a heaven-level weapon, it was impossible to find one in the entire heavenly mandate continent. It's a pity that this God-restraining lock seems to be a little broken. No, not broken, but this God-restraining lock itself is only a part of another weapon. Long Yu quickly received this information through the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. Old man, is this God-restraining lock incomplete? Long Yu asked casually. Yes, it is. Even now, Wang Changfeng still could not quite believe the reality before his eyes. I remember that Yu Qingsha used the entire soul-restraining lock to trap me, but in the end, only a small section was left. That man said that this small section was enough to suppress me. That's terrible. Doesn't that mean that she knows that this small part of the God-restraining lock has been broken and that you have escaped? Long Yu's expression changed slightly. Wang Chongfeng's expression suddenly changed. Yes, it's very possible. Since this God-restraining lock is only a small part, she must be able to sense where this small part is through the large part in her hand. I have an idea. Long Yu suddenly remembered that the ancient dragon bone tower he currently possessed seemed to contain another space that did not belong to the heavenly mandate continent or the divine battle world. If he threw that small part of the God-restraining lock into the ancient dragon bone tower, would Yu Qingsha not be able to sense it? Now that things had come to this, there was only one way. Long Yu took out the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds. With a thought, he controlled the small part of the God-restraining lock and threw it into the space on the 2nd floor of the ancient dragon bone tower. With Long Yu's current strength, he could only open the 2nd floor of the ancient dragon bone tower at most. Where did you put that thing? Wang Chongfeng was still at the bottom of the lake and asked blankly. I put away. Yu Qingsha should not be able to sense its existence anymore. Long Yu said, You put a spatial soldier in it? Wang Chongfeng frowned slightly. I feel that this God-restraining lock is a heaven-level spatial soldier. Even a spatial soldier might not be able to sense it. Don't worry, this spatial soldier of mine is not an ordinary one. Long Yu explained. In the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, even the laws of heaven and earth were weakened to the extreme. Experts of a celestial realm could only use the power of the divine text. It was evident that the space of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower did not belong to this world. It would be too unbelievable to say that Yu Qingsha could still sense the existence of the God-restraining lock. I think it's better for you to throw it away. It's safer, Wang Chongfeng said solemnly. This is a heaven-level spatial soldier. It would be a pity to throw it away just like that. Long Yu squinted his eyes. In fact, he also knew that throwing away this small part of the God-restraining lock would be the safest. However, he had his own plans. When he saw the God-restraining lock, the divine text of Yu had reacted in an attempt to control it. This undoubtedly indicated that there was something special about the God-restraining lock. The divine text of Yu did not have any consciousness, but it was controlled by the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. Chapter 389. Long Yu let out a sigh of relief after putting away the small piece of the God-restraining lock. However, he knew that there was still a great challenge in front of him, and that was to deal with the old man Wang Chongfeng, who had just escaped. Old man, I really help you unlock the God-restraining lock. How about it? Isn't it time for you to fulfill your promise? Long Yu squinted his eyes and looked at the old man in the lake. Wang Chongfeng was stunned for a while, and then he had a look of realization. Yes, now that his God-restraining lock was unlocked, he regained his freedom. After being imprisoned for 14 years, he had been looking forward to this day all the time. Now, the day had finally come. Ha 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 ha! Wang Chongfeng laughed out loud, and his whole body flew up into the sky, bringing with him a wave of green lake water that sprayed onto the lakeside like a downpour. The aura that belonged to a warrior in the heavenly tribulation state made the entire hidden bone abyss tremble. Boom! Wang Chongfeng took a step in front of Long Yu. His ragged clothes that had been soaked in the lake water for 14 years fluttered in the wind. His messy hair also fluttered in the wind, making him look like a mad lion. Although I, Wang Chongfeng, am not a good person, I will definitely fulfill my promise to myself. Wang Chongfeng laughed. Brat, you are awesome. I will teach you the Tears of Heaven technique. The day of the great selection is approaching. I hope you can use this technique to be chosen by someone outside. Apart from the Tears of Heaven technique, old man, do you know any secret techniques to hide the aura of the celestial being's secret realm? Long Yu asked. Hide the aura of the celestial being's secret realm? Wang Chongfeng frowned slightly. Yes, but this secret technique is not very useful. It can only be used on martial arts practitioners whose cultivation is lower than your own. If the opponent's martial arts realm is higher than yours, you still can't hide your aura when you use this secret technique. I see, but it's not bad. Teach it to me. Long Yu nodded. Although he was not very satisfied with this secret technique, it was better than nothing. At least when he traveled between countries in the heavenly mandate continent, he would not have to worry about exposing his identity and strength. All right, the Tears of Heaven technique and the Qi concealing secret technique. Wang Changfeng nodded, indicating that there was no problem. Also, old man, as the Lord of the Thundercloud Fortress, you must have comprehended the power of the divine characters. Give me the power of the divine characters you have comprehended. Long Yu said lightly. You little brat, divine text? Wang Changfeng immediately cursed. Don't think that my eyes are failing me. What you used to break the God-restricting chains just now was the power of the divine characters, right? You've already comprehended such a powerful divine text, yet you're still eyeing my divine text power? What? Can't bear to part with it. Long Yu's brows twitched. I remember that you said that as long as I unlock the God-binding lock, you'll teach me everything you know. Wang Changfeng, am a man of my word. The old man coldly snorted, interrupting Long Yu. He then said, however, the power of the divine runes is different from other powers. I can only give you 7 days to comprehend it. If you can't comprehend it in 7 days, then you should give up. No problem. Long Yu nodded. The power of the divine runes could be comprehended in 7 days. If he couldn't comprehend it in 7 days, then the attribute of the power of the divine runes must not be compatible. Even if he spent more time, he still wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Every divine rune has its own attribute. Every martial arts cultivator also has their own attribute. Wang Changfeng said, if the divine rune and the attribute of a martial arts cultivator are compatible, it would be easy to comprehend the divine rune. But if it is not compatible, then don't even think about comprehending the power of the divine rune. For a martial arts cultivator, not being able to comprehend a divine rune does not mean that their talent is poor. Perhaps if they comprehend another type of divine rune, their speed will be much faster. I see. After hearing this, Long Yu finally understood the relationship between the divine runes and martial arts cultivators. He had thought that his inability to comprehend the divine rune was because his talent was not good enough, and he could only rely on the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds to comprehend the divine rune. Now, it seemed that this was not the case. He was unable to comprehend the divine rune, and so many other participants of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection were unable to comprehend the divine rune. It was not that their talent was not good enough. It was just that their attributes were not compatible with the divine rune. The reason I was able to become the Lord of the Thundercloud Fortress was because I obtained a divine rune when I was young, a divine rune with a word hidden. As Wang Changfeng spoke, he raised his hand. The power of the divine rune condensed into lines, gradually forming the word hidden. The God-restraining lock is mainly used to restrain the power of the divine rune. Otherwise, just a small portion of a heaven-level combat weapon would not have been able to trap me for so long. As Wang Changfeng lamented, he activated the hidden divine rune in his hand, causing it to float above Long Yu's head. Kid, comprehend it. Wang Changfeng sat down cross-legged and chuckled. In these 7 days, I have recorded the cultivation methods of the blood of heavens and the Qi concealment technique in a bamboo scroll. You can comprehend it on your own when you wake up. This old man will not stay here to accompany you. It was obvious that he was still afraid that the small portion of the God-restraining lock hidden on Long Yu's body would attract Yu Qingsha. Long Yu did not stop him. He only said, other than the blood of heavens and the Qi concealment technique, I also want to know some things about the Great Selection. Write them down. Long Yu wasn't courteous at all. Anything that he needed, you would ask for it. However, Long Yu was not interested in martial arts techniques. He had already comprehended enough martial arts techniques. There were still 2 earth-level martial arts techniques that his mother, Bei Yu Yao, did not have time to cultivate. There was no need to ask Wang Changfeng about martial arts techniques. It was not good to bite off more than one could chew. Long Yu understood this principle. Long Yu began to comprehend the hidden divine rune. The power of the hidden divine rune was completely different from the powerful golden light of the fighting divine rune. It was completely composed of pitch-black lines. It was difficult to sense its existence, and its aura was extremely hidden. The hidden divine rune is a very low-key divine rune power. So far, I have comprehended 70% of the power of the hidden divine rune. If I want to hide, no one in the entire heavenly mandate continent can find me. Wang Changfeng explained proudly. If you can comprehend 10% of the hidden divine rune, martial arts cultivators of the same level will definitely not be a match for you. Even if you can't beat them, you can hide. This hidden divine rune means to hide? Long Yu frowned slightly. He felt that something was not right. This Wang Changfeng had comprehended 70% of the hidden divine rune. It was impossible for him to use it only to hide and escape. There must be something else that this old man had not mentioned. Long Yu did not ask any more questions. When it came to the power of divine runes, what others said was completely useless. Only what one comprehended counted. Wang Changfeng was carving bamboo slips on the side, while Long Yu was concentrating on comprehending the hidden divine rune. He felt that it was much easier to comprehend than the fighting divine rune. After only one day, Long Yu had comprehended something. A dim light flashed in his palm, and the pitch-black lines gradually formed a hidden character. 1,000th of the power of the hidden divine rune. Long Yu opened his eyes and thought to himself that he should be more suitable for the power of the hidden divine rune. The Yu character was also one of the powers of this type of divine rune. It made people feel gloomy and gloomy. That old man is not here anymore. Long Yu turned his head and saw that Wang Changfeng was indeed gone. He only left him 3 bamboo slips, which he placed beside him. Only Long Yu and the hidden divine rune above his head were left on the edge of the green lake, which emitted a dark and transparent light. Let's check first. Long Yu did not let his guard down. He first checked the 3 bamboo slips left by Wang Changfeng and found that one of them recorded the mind cultivation method of Heaven Weeping Blood. The other recorded the secret skill of Hidden Aura and some matters about the Great Selection. And the last one even left Long Yu a martial arts technique of upper grade of Earth level. This martial arts technique of upper grade of Earth level should be the trump card of Thundercloud Fortress, just like the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. This old man, I don't have time to practice his martial arts techniques. Long Yu smiled and threw the 3 bamboo slips into the space of 9 serenities. Although he did not have time to practice the martial arts technique of upper grade of Earth level, it was the trump card of Thundercloud Fortress. It could be said to be a priceless treasure in the Heavenly Mandate continent. Even if Long Yu did not practice it himself, he could give it to his friends. There was no harm in letting it go. Hidden. In these 7 days, Long Yu only wanted to comprehend the hidden divine rune. At this time, he had comprehended 1,000th of the power of the hidden divine rune, and when he used it, he could make his figure appear and disappear. Not only that, after comprehending the power of the hidden divine rune, no matter what moves he used, he would become quite low-key and not easy to be noticed. This is a wonderful power for sneak attacks. Long Yu could not help but sigh. No wonder Wang Changfeng was so notorious. After comprehending the hidden divine rune, he went to sneak attacks. With his martial arts realm, who could resist him? Wang Changfeng had already left, but the hidden divine rune was still floating above Long Yu's head, and it would last for 7 days before it dissipated. On the 3rd day, 1% of the power of the hidden divine rune! In Long Yu's palm, the power of the hidden divine rune suddenly changed. In 3 days, he had actually comprehended 1% of the power of the hidden divine rune. If Wang Changfeng were to know of this, he would probably praise Long Yu's heaven-defying compatibility with the hidden divine rune. Unfortunately, Wang Changfeng had run away first and did not see this scene. In my previous life, I was an assassin. In this life, I am a martial cultivator, but it is obvious that I still have the aura of an assassin in my bones. Perhaps it is because of this that I am so compatible with the hidden divine rune. As Long Yu thought to himself, he did not stop and continued to comprehend it. 7 days passed by quickly. Just as the hidden divine rune above Long Yu's head was about to dissipate, Long Yu finally made another breakthrough. He had comprehended 1/10 of the hidden divine rune. 1/10 of the power of the hidden divine rune was already quite powerful. Most importantly, Long Yu had only used 7 days to do this. Chapter 390. 7 days later, Long Yu had successfully comprehended 1/10 of the power of the hidden divine rune. For him, this was definitely an important step on the road of martial Dao. This meant that his failure to comprehend the fighting divine rune was not due to his lack of talent, but because his attributes were incompatible. I've comprehended 1/10 of the hidden divine rune. Unfortunately, this power's offensive power is quite weak. Under normal circumstances, it can only be used as a support, Long Yu thought to himself. Even if it was only 1/10 of the hidden divine rune, it was enough for him to be completely undetected in a place like the Tang Empire. So this old man has such a good thing like the hidden divine rune. No wonder he didn't care much about the Qi concealing secret technique. If he had comprehended the hidden divine rune, why would he need the Qi concealing secret technique? Long Yu laughed bitterly. He opened the bamboo scroll that recorded the Qi concealing secret technique. He found that the Qi concealing secret technique was, in the end, just a simplified secret technique based on the power of the hidden divine rune. It could conceal one's heaven-being secret realm aura. In terms of effect, it was only equivalent to less than 1/1000th of the power of the hidden divine rune. Perhaps even Wang Changfeng did not expect that Long Yu could directly comprehend 1/10 of the power of the hidden divine rune in just 7 days. Even Wang Changfeng himself, who had obtained the hidden divine rune, had spent half a month to comprehend 1/10 of the power of the hidden divine rune. He was twice as slow as Long Yu. Without the hidden divine rune, if a martial cultivator comprehended the hidden divine rune, they would at most be able to comprehend 1/10 of its power. But Long Yu only spent 7 days to comprehend the hidden divine rune to its limit. It could be seen that his degree of compatibility with the hidden divine rune was terrifying. In the end, it was probably because Long Yu was too suitable for hiding in the dark. After all, he had been doing this for decades in his previous life. Assassins would never confront their enemies head-on. Sneak attacks were their most common method. For Long Yu, it was naturally the same. The Great Selection. Long Yu then glanced at the details of the selection recorded at the back of the Qi concealment secret technique. From what Wang Changfeng had recorded, it could be seen that the main purpose of the Great Selection from outside forces was to find geniuses to become members of their forces. In terms of nature, it was the same as the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection. However, the participants of the selection were all martial arts cultivators under the age of 40 on the Heavenly Mandate continent. There is only one condition to participate in the Great Selection, and that was to be under 40 years of age. As long as you fulfilled this condition, you could participate in the selection even if you were only in the first stage of the martial path. Of course, if your martial Dao realm was too weak, participating in the selection would only lead to death. As for the Great Selection, not all the participants would be mixed together to compete, but they would have to go through 3 rounds of tests. The first test was to use something called the Attribute Stone to test all the participants. The Attribute Stone tested each martial cultivator's attribute. From the results of this round of tests, it could be seen which type of divine text each martial cultivator was most compatible with. The first round of tests lasted for a total of 7 days. After 7 days, the Attribute Stone would turn into a space door. Through this space door, one could be transported to an illusory realm. All martial arts cultivators would encounter all kinds of illusions after entering the illusory realm through the space door. This illusory realm was mainly used to test the willpower of martial arts cultivators. The outsiders seemed to pay great attention to the strength of willpower. They would not even look at martial arts cultivators whose willpower did not meet the requirements. Those who passed the willpower test in the illusory realm could continue forward and reach an unknown dangerous area. In this dangerous area, there would be a third round of tests. However, no one knew what the third round of tests would be. because the content of the third round of the Great Selection was different every time. Test attributes? Test willpower? Long Yu was somewhat confident about this. He had always been persistent in training his willpower. Even if he was roasted over a fire, he would probably not even frown. The Great Selection had a total of 3 rounds. The first round would not eliminate anyone, but the second round of willpower test would eliminate 99% of the people at once. From this, it could be seen how strict the willpower test was. Moreover, in the willpower test, many martial arts cultivators really died inside. In other words, in the illusory realm that tested willpower, if one was not careful, one could really lose their life inside. In every Great Selection, there were no more than 3 people who could be chosen by outsiders. Other than these 3 rounds of tests, there were several special conditions. One of them was that martial arts cultivators who had comprehended the laws of the heavenly crystal level only needed to pass the first 2 rounds of tests. In other words, as long as one comprehended the laws of the heavenly crystal level, one only needed to have enough willpower. Wang Changfeng knew that there were other conditions, but he did not know what they were. This was because the Great Selection had a special characteristic, and that was that there would not be any foreign martial arts cultivators appearing. On the day of the Great Selection, only one attribute stone would come from the sky, break through the 1,000 layers of heavenly spirits, and reach the center of the heavenly mandate continent. After 7 days, this attribute stone would turn into a space door. All martial arts cultivators under the age of 40 could enter, but whether or not they could come out depended on their own strength. When someone was really chosen, then the force that they were in would receive a treasure thrown in by the forces from beyond the sky as a reward. As for what the treasure was, it was different for everyone. No one actually appeared, but they could control all the martial arts cultivators of the heavenly mandate continent and fight for it. Long Yu was amazed. It seemed that outside of the heavenly mandate continent, there were indeed many unbelievably powerful martial arts cultivators. Cultivators at that level did not need to show their faces to control the life and death of billions of creatures. However, from the Hell Demon Seed that Lu Yuan's father, Lu Qing, Long Yu also knew that outside of the heavenly mandate continent, there were also extremely evil and powerful martial arts cultivators. The evil martial arts cultivators who planted the Hell Demon Seed could control billions of creatures on the heavenly mandate continent with just a thought. And this was not the pinnacle of martial arts. The true pinnacle of martial arts might be like when the dragon of the 9 underworlds was alive. Not only was he the ruler of this world, but he could even be called a god. I still have a long way to go. There was a flash of determination in Long Yu's eyes. No matter what, he had to break out of the heavenly mandate continent. No matter what, he had to find out why he came to this world. And who on earth was the woman who carved the dragon of the 9 underworlds on his chest? Consort Yu? He put away the 3 bamboo slips, rose into the sky, and returned to the Tang Empire. In the next half a month, he had to guard the Tang Empire for a while, and then wait for the Star Will to pick him up and take him to the Yellow Sand City. During this time, what he had to do was to start practicing the Crying Heaven Blood technique. After practicing the Crying Heaven Blood technique, one could comprehend the law of the heavenly crystal level, the Crying Heaven Blood technique. Although the power of the law of the heavenly crystal level was not as powerful as the hieroglyph, the power of the hieroglyph had a limit. Without the hieroglyph, comprehending 1/10 of the power of the hieroglyph was already the limit. But the power of the law depended on this world. When the martial arts cultivators reached a higher level, they could borrow more of the power of this world, and they could even exert more than 1/10 of the power of the hieroglyph. For the martial arts cultivators in the secret realm of heavenly beings, the law of heaven and earth was the main means of fighting. Perhaps only after stepping into the secret realm of divine power that Wang Changfeng mentioned would they use the power of the hieroglyph as their main means of fighting. How powerful was the innate divine power? Long Yu quickly returned to the Tang Empire. But this time, he did not intend to show himself. Instead, he planned to use the power of the hidden character to hide and protect the Jintian clan and the Feng family in secret. He did not intend to show himself because he did not want to bring disaster to them. Once the people of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm knew that he was here, they would definitely send warriors down, and all the people that Long Yu knew would suffer. The Feng family mansion in the imperial city of the Tang Empire. Long Yu had come back before, but not many people in the Feng family mansion knew about it. Most people only knew that a warrior had asked the Feng family to take care of Dusong Crane and Shi Ying Wu, and then left a lot of cultivation materials, which helped many of them to improve their martial arts. Especially Fengyu Xen, one of the 3 heroes of the Feng family. After taking the source of the 9 serenities, she cultivated in seclusion for 7 days, and actually broke through the bottleneck and stepped into the secret realm of heavenly beings. She became a legend in the Tang Empire. Reaching the heavens' secret realm at the age of 20 was unprecedented in the history of the Tang Empire. Even the legend of the Tang Empire, the great sword emperor of the Chu family, stepped into the secret realm at the age of 22 and amazed the world for hundreds of years. Now, Fengyu Xian was only 20 years old, and she had stepped into the secret realm, which amazed everyone in the Tang Empire. The Feng family was about to rise. This was the most popular rumor in the Tang Empire these days. Some people even said that the Feng family could even replace the Chu family and become the new royal family of the Tang Empire. As for this saying, it quickly spread in the streets. But no one knew that on the day Fengyu Xian stepped into the secret realm, Mo Shanjian, an expert of the secret realm from the Mo family, came to the Feng family. Mo Shanjian had helped the Feng family a lot before the rise of the Feng family. Now, he came to remind them not to have any designs on the Chu family, or they would definitely regret it. Fengyu Xian and Feng Chang'e discussed this for a long time, and then came to a decision. The Feng family did not need to replace the Chu family to become the royal family of the Tang Empire. Right now, the Feng family was developing well, and even if they became the royal family, it would not be any better. If that was the case, why would they take the risk to attack the Chu family? Since Mo Shanjian had specifically come to warn him, there must be a reason for it. If Feng Chang'e couldn't trust Mo Shanjian, then he didn't know who else could. Chapter 391. After Long Yu returned to the Tang Empire, all the rumors he heard were about Fengyu Xian. On the other hand, the advancement of the other members of the Feng family was not so eye-catching. They were completely overshadowed by the news of Fengyu Xian entering the heavenly being's secret realm. There are less than 20 days left. It would be best if I could cultivate the crying heaven blood cultivation method before Yi Luan comes to pick me up. Long Yu picked another ghost mask and wore it, then rented an inn in the great Tang Imperial City. For him, renting an inn in the Tang Imperial City for half a month was not difficult at all. He had hundreds of crystal cores on him. Any one of them was enough to rent an inn like this for a few years. The crystal cores he got from the family that adopted Shi Yingwu were all given to Long Yu. After all, he was going to live in seclusion and recuperate. There was no point in having so much money. Long Yu was always on the move. It would be much more convenient to have enough crystal cores on him. The days of cultivating the crying heaven blood cultivation method had begun. What Long Yu did not know was that in the vast world far away from the heavenly mandate continent, there was a woman wearing cyan muslin. She had sensed something because Long Yu had taken a small piece of the God-inhibiting lock. Has the God-inhibiting lock been broken? But it doesn't matter. After 14 years, that person will not be able to surpass me. Even if he enters the secret realm, he will not be on the same level as me. This woman was the genius woman that Wang Changfeng hated, Yu Qingsha. At this time, Yu Qingsha was wearing a cyan muslin. Even after more than 10 years, she still had the appearance of a young girl. It was clear that her martial arts cultivation had reached a level that Wang Changfeng could not catch up to. But that small piece of the God-inhibiting lock is mine. It will eventually return to me. Yu Qingsha closed her eyes. Wang Changfeng, the only reason I'm sparing your life is because you caused the heavens to weep blood. If you don't know what's good for you and want to find me for revenge, then I will definitely let you know how big the gap between us is. However, not long after, Yu Qingsha suddenly frowned. Why can't I feel the God-inhibiting lock? Yu Qingsha was in disbelief. The small piece of the God-forbidding lock that she had left on the heavenly mandate continent to imprison Wang Chongfeng was taken from the God-forbidding lock on her body. Logically speaking, it was impossible for her not to feel its existence. But now, Yu Qingsha truly knew that she had lost her perception of the God-restricting lock on the heavenly mandate continent. What happened? Yu Qingsha frowned, but she did not impulsively head to the heavenly mandate continent to investigate. Because she knew that to be able to destroy a small part of the God-confining seal and block her perception of the God-confining seal, one had to be at least in the mystic realm. She didn't want to provoke such an expert. Forget it. I'll give you a small piece of the God-restraining lock as a gift. Yu Qingsha shook her head and stopped thinking about it. Long Yu rented the inn. While practicing heavenly blood tears, he also inquired about the situation in the Tang Empire. On the 5th day after his return, the Jintian clan and the Ice sect, the only two remaining sects of the former 7 major sects, each sent people to the Feng family in the imperial city of the Tang Empire to congratulate Fengyu Xian on entering the heavenly being's secret realm. Fengyu Xian could be considered a disciple of the Jintian clan. And because of her relationship with Long Yu, the relationship between the Jintian clan and the Feng family was very good. If it were not for the fact that the two sides were different in nature, they could probably be called the same force. The cooperation between the Jintian clan and the Feng family had always been very close. Speaking of cultivators in the heavenly being's secret realm, the Jintian clan did have some. Yin Huanma, who joined the Heavenly Mandate Divine Institute 2 years ago, was one. However, as a disciple of the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm, Yin Huanma could not stay in the Tang Empire all the time. He could only come back to visit very rarely. Now, Fengyu Xian of the Feng family was different. Not only did Fengyu Xian enter the Heavenly Being's secret realm, but she was also a member of the Feng family at the age of 20. Even if Fengyu Xian entered the Heavenly Being's secret realm, she would still stay in the Feng family and become the guardian of the Feng family. Moreover, Fengyu Xian was an alchemist. In this way, Elder Shi's alchemy skills have a successor. Long Yu was pleased. Although Long Yu knew alchemy, he had always been a dabbler. It was impossible for him to really focus on alchemy. In Long Yu's eyes, alchemy was only a supplementary skill. It was difficult for him to learn it to the best. But Fengyu Xian was different. She did not have the pressure like Long Yu, who needed to quickly improve his martial arts realm. Therefore, learning alchemy in her spare time was a good choice. If an alchemist in the Heavenly Being's secret realm was bold enough, she could definitely develop the Tang Empire into a powerful country like the North Sea Nation. One should know that the Shi family of the North Sea Nation only had 3 to 5 Heavenly Being's secret realm experts, and they were all in the human initial realm. The number of experts in the Tang Empire was not inferior to the Shi family of the North Sea Nation. However, compared to the entire North Sea Nation, they were still lacking. In the North Sea Nation, the Shi family was not the only family with Heavenly Being secret realm experts. Now I can rest assured. Long Yu looked at the Feng family's mansion from afar. Many familiar figures from the Ice sect and the Jintian clan came to congratulate the Feng family. It was an unprecedented grand occasion. It could be said to be the biggest event in the Tang Empire in recent years. The Ice sect's sect leader, Tang Qin, this woman has always been on our side. Long Yu saw a familiar woman in the crowd. Although he did not interact much with Tang Qin, he had always had a good impression of this woman. At least, no matter what, Tang Qin led the Ice sect to stand on the side of the Jintian clan. This made Long Yu quite moved. Driven by interests and threats, the other 5 sects had long submitted to Chu Chaosheng and formed the Wu clan of the Tang Empire. Only the Ice sect, which was under Tang Qin's rule, did not choose to do so. Now, the disciples of the Ice sect who had been living an extremely difficult life finally had a feeling of turning over. The Feng family, an ally of the Ice sect, had a 20-year-old Heavenly Being secret realm expert, Fengyu Xian. This meant that the Feng family, the Jintian clan, and the Ice sect would rise from now on. This was even more shocking than the Jintian clan elder Yan Huanma joining the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Realm and breaking through to the Heavenly Being Secret Realm. Sect leader Bai Zong, Senior Brother Bu, Senior Brotherly Bu Fan, Elder Yu Shengshi, Elder Yu Shuiyun, Elder Black, Elder Bai standing in the distance. Long Yu glanced at the many familiar people and was filled with emotion. In addition to these people, there was also the black-faced Lu Guanming, the handsome Ling Han, and the grown-up Ling Yue. Looking at them, Long Yu felt a sense of warmth in his heart. In this world where martial arts were respected, he was actually not alone. In the field, Fenyu Xin was obviously a little shy in the face of so many people's congratulations. However, as a Heavenly Being Secret Realm expert, she still had her own demeanor. In fact, we have all come this far thanks to one person, a person who will always be in my heart. Fenyu Xin glanced at the field. When she said this, everyone was a little silent, especially those who were close to Long Yu. They all knew who Fenyu Xin was talking about. Long Yu. Without Long Yu, there would be no Feng family today, no Jintian clan today. Everyone would remember the indomitable young man in the martial arts competition of the 7 sects, Long Yu. They would all remember that Long Yu returned 2 years later and gave Yin Huanma a chance. In the end, he even led Yin Huanma to stand out from the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection. However, he was framed and died in the so-called Dragon Bone Tower. Today, Long Yu was not present. Very few people knew that Long Yu was still alive. Today, I don't want to say too much. I just want to tell everyone that no matter how strong you become in the future, you must not forget the person who brought us everything. As Fenyu Xin said this, there seemed to be tears in her eyes. However, as a Heavenly Being Secret Realm expert, she knew that she could not shed tears, especially when not all the people present were on the same side. Those who attended this celebration were not only people from the Ice sect and the Jintian clan. Martial grandmasters of the Tang Empire and the other major figures of the Tang Empire had all come to the Feng residence. In the name of congratulating, they were actually here to find out the truth. Fenyu Xion's words caused everyone present to fall silent. That brat Long Yu, no matter how powerful he is still dead. Suddenly, a discordant voice came into everyone's ears. This voice immediately attracted everyone's attention. Most people glared at the person who said this. That person turned out to be Yuchi Tao, the young master of the Yuchi clan, one of the 4 major clans of the Tang Empire. Yuchi Tao had once tried to get his hands on Yin Huanma in Mixsound City, but his subordinates were killed by Long Yu, and he had to flee in a panic. At this time, Yuchi Tao was wearing a set of silk clothes and said with a smile. Next to Yuchi Tao stood another young master. He was also dressed luxuriously. His golden robe was so bright that it could blind people's eyes. It was Luo Zixing from the Luo clan. 4 years ago, Luo Zixing was whipped by Long Yu in the mountain residence. Since then, he had regarded Long Yu as a great enemy. That's right. He's dead, so be it. But he still wants people to remember him. Luo Zixing also played along with Yuchi Tao's words and glanced at Fenyu Xin. Even the aura of a Heavenly Secret Realm powerhouse could not make these 2 young masters feel afraid. Do you 2 want to die? A rude voice sounded. It was Lu Guanming from the Jintian clan. He rolled up his sleeves and walked toward the 2. It was obvious that he wanted to teach them a lesson. Oh, I'm so scared. Someone is going to kill me. Luo Zixing made an exaggerated gesture of fear. He then stuck out his tongue at Lu Guanming and made a face. It was as if he did not care about Lu Guanming at all. In fact, Lu Guanming was now in the rank 8 true spirit. How could he deal with a small fry like Luo Zixing, who was only in the rank 4 or 5 true spirit? Hui Huang Jilian Genshin Oyster Mei Fu Guang, however, just as he was about to make a move, he was stopped by Ling Han. Old Lu, don't be rash. Chapter 392. Hearing Ling Han's words, Lu Guanming couldn't help but laugh disdainfully. Our Sister Feng has already stepped into the Heaven Mystery Realm. Who could be more powerful than Sister Feng, standing behind these two little bastards. Hee hee, why don't you come and fight me? The arrogant young master of the Luo family, Luo Zixing, laughed contemptuously at Lu Guanming. Watch carefully. Flames of rage blazed in Lu Guanming's heart as he glared angrily at Luo Zixing. Instantly, he swung his fist and condensed the profound energy in his entire body to form a whirlwind spear that pierced through the sky and blasted towards Luo Zixing. Luo Zixing's face turned pale when he saw this. If Lu Guanming's move were to hit him squarely with his cultivation, he would definitely be dead. But at this moment, a violent flame suddenly fell from the sky with infinite power. It engulfed Lu Guanming's whirlwind spear and completely annihilated it. The appearance of the flame made everyone's expression change. It's a heavenly secret realm expert. Everyone stared at the center of the flame. When the flame dissipated, a bald martial cultivator holding a flame streamer appeared in front of them. This bald martial cultivator had a bare upper body. With an arrogant and disdainful expression, he swept his gaze across the crowd and said with disdain, "As I expected, the masked man is that brat Long Yu. Old Shi, hurry up and bring your precious granddaughter out. I'll consider giving you a quick death." This martial cultivator was Li Jin, the bald martial cultivator who had followed Wolf 7 from the Thundercloud Fortress. When he lost track of Song Shi, he thought that the masked man might be Long Yu. He deliberately investigated Long Yu's background and came to the Tang Empire to investigate. He quickly confirmed that the one who broke into the Imperial Palace of North Sea was Long Yu. Song Shi and Shi Yingwu were at the Feng family. He did not appear to alert the enemy. Instead, he entrusted the Luo family, the Yuchi family, and other forces in the city to investigate. After the results of the investigation, he sent a request for help to the North Sea nation. Li Jin was very smart when it came to handling matters. Although he looked down on the Tang Empire, it was undeniable that the Feng family had Fengyu Exant, who had stepped into the heavenly being's secret realm. He, Li Jin, was alone. A strong dragon could not suppress a snake in its own territory. It was better to ask for help. Today, the reinforcements that Li Gui had called for were about to arrive. Hence, he immediately jumped out to test Feng Yusin's strength. A martial arts practitioner from the North Sea nation? Isn't that the flame banner of the Fire Depository Palace? It really is. I remember that it clearly disappeared during the martial competition of the Seven Sects. How could it appear in this person's possession? The onlookers retreated one after another, giving Li Jin a large space. With the arrival of a celestial realm warrior, none of them dared to stop him. All they could do was step back and watch the situation unfold. Hee, Blackface, come and hit me. When Luo Zixing saw Li Jin appear, his pale face turned into a smug one, and he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he became even more arrogant, and he winked at Lu Guanming, full of mockery. Don't be rash. Seeing that Lu Guanming could not take it anymore and was about to make a move, Ling Han immediately extended his hand and stopped him. Let Yusin go. Although Lu Guanming could not take it lying down at this moment, in front of Celestial Realm Warrior, he could only bear with it. Feng Yusin frowned slightly and took a step forward. She said to the bald martial arts practitioner, Li Gui, "Are you here to ask for someone from the Feng family? I'm sorry, but we cannot hand her over to you unless you defeat me." "Ha ha, you little girl, who has just entered the Celestial Realm. How dare you be so arrogant and put on airs in front of me?" Li Jin laughed out loud, and his smile was ferocious. "Then I'll let you know what kind of aura a true Celestial Realm Warrior has." As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hand, and the flame banner in his hand suddenly exploded with an extremely strong power of the Law of Fire. It was the Law of Fire of the Dark Jade level. The sky was filled with flames, and Feng Yusin's aura was completely suppressed. Her pretty face was imprinted with flames, and it was obvious that she was under great pressure. Seeing that the two were about to fight, the surrounding people hurriedly retreated far away. They had never seen a battle between Celestial Realm warriors in their lives, but they could imagine how powerful it would be. If they were too close, they would definitely lose their lives if they were caught in the crossfire. The rest of the people from the Jintian clan and Feng family watched the scene anxiously, worried for Feng Yusin's safety. Although Feng Yusin had entered the Celestial Realm and was also a Celestial Realm warrior, she was still too young and did not have much battle experience. It was likely that she had not fully grasped the power of the Celestial Realm. But Li Jin was different. One look, and it was obvious that he had rich battle experience, and he had also comprehended the law of fire of the Dark Jade level. It was obvious who was stronger and who was weaker. We'll help you. Although Feng Xiaofei and Feng Haofeng were only in the rank 9 true spirit realm, they did not retreat, but stood behind Feng Yusin and said in a deep voice, "Move aside." Although Feng Yuxian was a young girl, at this moment, she displayed the bearing of an expert in the celestial being's secret realm. His opponent is me. It's useless for you guys to stay here. If I can't hold on any longer, then you guys can go. Ever since she entered the celestial realm and became the strongest warrior in the Feng family, she was destined to shield the Feng family from the wind and rain. In the face of a strong enemy, Feng Yusin had no reason to retreat. With a thought, Feng Yuxian's heaven-suppressing law burst forth, pushing Feng Haofeng and Feng Xiaofei away. She then took a step forward, and a suppressive law energy spread out, affecting Li Jin's law of fire slightly. Feng Haofeng was the heaven-suppressing law. "You're just a Yellowstone law, and you dare to show off in front of me." Li Jin grinned, his face ferocious. His body was surrounded by flames, and he suddenly tore the law of suppression apart. His entire body passed through the law of suppression, as if he was in an unstoppable state. The difference between the Yellowstone law and the Dark Jade law was too great. Although Li Jin had only comprehended the law of darkness, at this moment, he had completely suppressed Feng Yusin. The moment Li Jin appeared, Long Yu was hiding not far away, quietly observing all of this. He really did not expect this bald martial cultivator to be able to chase him all the way here. This seemed to be a little troublesome, not to mention anything else. This Li Jin definitely had to be eliminated, but he did not know who this bald martial cultivator had told the news to. Li Jin alone would not be able to behave atrociously in the Great Tang Empire. There must be someone behind him. Could it be the two guys who snatched the mystic leaf of Thousand Laws? Long Yu remembered that in Soldier Death City, there was a black-cloaked man who fought with the city lord of Soldier Death City. He claimed to be the wolf guard of Lei Wenshang, the white-eyed wolf. There is also the golden-robed old alchemist called Che Jianzi, who was also the white-eyed wolf subordinate. People from the Thundercloud Fortress. Long Yu narrowed his eyes, but did not show himself for the time being. Long Yu believed that Feng Yusin could deal with a bald Li Jin. Even if she could not defeat the opponent, she would not be defeated so quickly. This was also a training for Feng Yusin. Long Yu was waiting for others to appear. He had to act according to the situation. Long Yu was not worried about the Feng family of the Great Tang Empire. Even if a human tribulation realm expert appeared, he would dare to use the Dark Dragon's 9 explosions and kill the opponent even at the risk of repercussions, unless the opponent sent an expert who had stepped into the Heaven Realm. In that case, Long Yu really could not do anything. However, if the Thundercloud Fortress sent people to a place like the Great Tang Empire, it was unlikely that they would send an expert of the Heaven Realm. Long Yu was not worried about this. He continued to look at the battlefield. He saw that Li Jin was covered in flames. Although he had firmly suppressed Feng Yusin, he could not get within 10 feet of her. Facing the strong power of Li Jin's law of fire, Feng Yusin shrunk the law of heaven suppression to 10 feet, thus gaining a stronger defense and barely withstanding Li Jin's flame attack. As the two sides were in a stalemate, the expressions of the surrounding people changed drastically. The Jintian clan, the Ice Sect, and the rest of the Feng family were all worried for Feng Yusin. Today, they had come to celebrate Feng Yusin's breakthrough into the heavenly mystery realm. They did not expect to witness a battle between two heavenly mystery realm experts. The person who came was really good at picking a day. Besides these people, there are also people from the Great Tang Empire's Wuzong, Luo family, Yuchi family, and Wang family. They were all gloating. The four great families of the Great Tang Empire were the Luo family, the Yuchi family, the Wang family, and the Lu family. Among them, the Lu family had already collapsed and declined because of Long Yu 2 years ago. The Feng family quickly rose to become the leader of the four great families. Look, so what if you're in the heavenly mystery realm? You're still finished after offending someone you shouldn't have. Yuchi Tao from the Yuchi family watched as Feng Yusin was being suppressed and forced to retreat. He stared at her slender body, his eyes filled with desire. When Feng Yusin was defeated, he would definitely build a good relationship with his brotherly Jin and try his best to take Feng Yusin into his arms. Such a young lady from the heavenly mystery realm would definitely be fun to play with. He could not let her go. Compared to Yuchi Tao and Luo Zixing, the rest of the people from the Yuchi family, Luo family, and Wang family all looked serious. This was because they knew very well that they had colluded with the foreign martial cultivator Li Jin to harm the Feng family of the Great Tang Empire. This was a huge taboo. If they succeeded, it would be fine. If they failed, the three families would definitely be removed from the Great Tang Empire. The commotion caused by the Feng family in the Great Tang Imperial City did not attract the attention of the Mo family, the Long family, and the Chu family. However, after Li Jin appeared, three heavenly mystery realm powerhouses appeared around him. They were Mo Shanjian, Long Tianming, and Chu Xian. The three powerhouses flew over from different directions and surrounded the Feng family. At the same time, the disciples of the Mo family, Long family, and Chu family also rushed over. No one wanted to miss this moment. Regardless of whether the Feng family was dead or alive, they wanted to see it with their own eyes. There are only the few of you in the heavenly mystery realm of the Great Tang Empire, right? Li Jin looked around and smiled disdainfully. I advise you not to make a move. Otherwise, bear the consequences. Chapter 393. Mo Shanjian, Long Tianming, and Chu Xian were the pillars of the Tang Empire. In the entire Tang Empire, apart from the three of them, only Chu Yulong from the Imperial Chu family and Fenyu Xian, who had just broken through not long ago, were experts of the celestial realm. Facing Li Jin's threat, Mo Shanjian, Long Tianming, and Chu Xian had no choice but to reconsider. Of course, they wanted to protect Fenyu Xian. After all, Fenyu Xian's rise represented the rise of the Tang Empire, and it would reduce the pressure they had to face from other countries. However, if they wanted to protect Fenyu Xian, they had to consider whether it was worth it to offend Li Jin. Li Jin was a martial cultivator from the Beihai Nation. He might even have some other background. If Li Ji died here, it would bring great trouble to the Tang Empire. In comparison, Fenyu Xian's safety was not as important. The Long clan's patriarch, Long Tianming, watched the situation without saying a word. Behind him stood Dragon Mark, who was dressed in a red robe. He was the young man who had participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection with Long Yu. The two brothers, Long Ji and Long Su, as well as their father, the Long family's clan head, Long Ruotian, were all wearing golden armor. They followed behind Long Hen and looked at the battlefield with some satisfaction. This Li Jin seems to have been attracted by Long Yu. Looks like that kid really likes to cause trouble outside. So what if he's talented? He offended people everywhere. Now that he's dead, he's still bringing trouble to the Feng clan. He's really a jinx. Long Su and Long Ji had been taught a lesson by Long Yu. Now that they saw the Feng clan in trouble, they were naturally happy. The family head of the Long family, Long Ruotian, frowned slightly when he saw the situation. He glanced at his father, Long Tianming. It was obvious that he did not intend to intervene. This meant that he was going to let the Feng clan be destroyed by Li Jin. Long Ruotian sighed and felt that it was a pity. However, he did not say anything. The rise of the Feng clan would indeed threaten their Long clan's position. Li Jin's appearance might not be a bad thing. The other side, Imperial daughter Chu Xian, stood on a rooftop and watched the Feng clan situation from afar with a faint smile on her face. Mother, aren't you going to help? Behind Chu Xian, the Imperial Princess Chu Huang asked. In the past 2 years, Chu Huang and Fingyu Xin had a good relationship in private. When she heard that Fingyu Xin had broken through to the heavenly realm, although she was a little jealous, she was still happy for her. Now that he saw Fengyu Xin being bullied by an outsider, Li Jin, Chu Huang felt a little uncomfortable. Do you think that girl needs my help now? Chu Xin smiled. She has just stepped into the heaven realm, so her realm is still unstable. Now that she has an opponent, she can consolidate her realm. It's not a bad thing, but Yusin is clearly no match for that baldy. Chu Huang shook his head and said, Not necessarily. Chu Xin squinted her eyes. Good daughter, just keep watching. Mother has a premonition that today's show won't end here. Chu Xin and Chu Huang were not the only ones who came from the Imperial Chu clan. Not far from the two girls, Chu Chaosheng and Yu Ruyin were standing together with Yu Qianing behind them. They looked at the Feng clan situation with smiles on their faces. It seems like even the heavens cannot tolerate the Feng clan's actions today. Chu Chaosheng wore a luxurious robe and smiled. Because of the rise of Long Yu and the Feng clan, Chu Chaosheng had been in a difficult situation. All the power he had accumulated in the past had been squandered away. Now that the Feng clan was being provoked by an outsider, it was a good thing for Chu Chaosheng. It's a pity that Long Yu died a long time ago. I really want to see his expression when he died. Yu Qianing's face was filled with hatred when she thought of Long Yu. Long Yu had left a huge shadow in her heart. According to Li Jin, that brat Long Yu is not dead yet. Also, an expert from the Feng mansion came with a grandfather and grandson pair. No one knows who that expert is. Chu Chaosheng said thoughtfully, Maybe it's Xinghai Yiluan. That Feng Chang'e saved that guy's life in the past. That guy takes good care of the Feng clan. Yu Ruyin said with extreme jealousy. Xinghai Yiluan was one of the 7 great calamities. If she had such a backer, she would not have to worry about getting what she wanted. It's hard to say. Let's keep watching. Chu Chaosheng's sense of smell was extremely sharp. I have a feeling that something bigger is going to happen today. Mo clan? Mo Shanjian was followed by Mo Fengming and Ling Longyu. As for the rest of the Mo clan, they were not here yet. Fengming, Ling Longyu, do you think I should save the girl from the Feng clan? Mo Shanjian asked Mo Fengming and Ling Longyu without turning his head. Mo Fengming thought for a while and said, The Feng clan is like the sun in the sky. They are the hope of the Great Tang Empire's rise. I don't think we should let them be in danger. Fengming, I know you're a good friend with Long Yu and know Lu Yuan from the Feng clan. However, the situation now is not something I can help even if I want to. Mo Shanjian shook his head and said with a bit of pity, I've been helping the Feng clan to the best of my abilities. However, the Feng clan's enemies are too powerful. Even if I take action, I might not be able to save the Feng clan. Plus, the Mo clan will be dragged into this as well. Godfather, I also think you should save the Feng clan. The veiled girl, Ling Longyu, suddenly said, I can't tell you the reason, but my intuition tells me so. Oh, Mo Shanjian was a little surprised. If Mo Fengming and the Feng clan were good friends, it was reasonable for him to help. However, Ling Longyu had never had any contact with the Feng clan before. Even during the Heavenly Mandate Divine Selection, Mo Shanjian had asked her about the details and did not hear anything about her relationship with Long Yu. Why would Ling Longyu choose him to help the Feng clan? If that is the case, then we will do as you say. If the girl from the Feng clan cannot hold on any longer, I will help. Mo Shanjian thought for a while and then let go. He smiled and said, I hope this is the right choice. It was a difficult decision for him to make. Obviously, he had listened to Ling Longyu and trusted her instincts. Who was Ling Longyu to be able to make Mo Shanjian act like this? No one knew who Ling Longyu's biological parents were. Even Mo Shanjian himself had no idea about it. But all this while, he had raised Ling Longyu, and he was very clear that she had an instinct. This instinct made even Mo Shanjian feel afraid. The battle between Li Jin and Fingyu Xin became more and more intense. Fingyu Xin had just entered the heavenly human secret realm. As Li Jin's power became more and more violent, She finally reached the point where she could not hold on any longer. As Fengyu Xian spat out a mouthful of blood, she took a dozen steps back. The Feng clan members were nervous. Feng Xiaofei and Feng Haofeng rushed out almost immediately. They had grown up with Fengyu Xian. At this moment, how could they watch Fengyu Xian fight alone? When Fengyu Xian could not hold on any longer, they would block the attacks for her, even if it meant sacrificing their lives. They could not let Fengyu Xian die in front of them. However, before the two of them could reach the center of the battlefield, a figure that they had seen a few times before suddenly appeared in front of them. Mo Shanjian. Mo Shanjian wore a white robe that was embroidered with landscape paintings. He looked extremely relaxed. However, when he descended from the sky in front of Fengyu Xian and blocked Li Jin, the aura he exuded made everyone hold their breaths. Someone actually came to help. Feng Xiaofei and Feng Haofeng stopped in their tracks and looked at each other. They could see the disbelief in each other's eyes. Faced with such a situation, they had never imagined that someone else would appear to help the Feng clan. If Elder Yin from the Jintian clan had suddenly returned, then it would be normal for him to help. However, Mo Shanjian had never personally appeared to help the Feng clan. Even though they were on good terms with the Feng clan, at this moment, they could not count on Mo Shanjian. But what shocked everyone was that Mo Shanjian had stepped forward. This old man must be tired of living. Many people who were hoping for the destruction of the Feng clan had this thought in their hearts. They looked at Mo Shanjian as if they were looking at an idiot. The current situation was extremely disadvantageous to the Feng clan. Li Jin came from the Beihai Kingdom. Even if the Tang Kingdom used all its strength, they might not be able to fight against him. Did Mo Shanjian really think that he alone could save the Feng clan? What wishful thinking. I think he's been helping the Feng clan rise all these years. He must have lived too long to be a fool. That's right. Now that the Feng clan is about to be destroyed, what's the point of Mo Shanjian stepping forward? Does he think he can save the Feng clan? When the Feng clan is destroyed and the Mo clan is dragged into it, he will know how naive he is. The crowd continued to speak, sneering and ridiculing Mo Shanjian, who stood out. However, Mo Shanjian's expression was indifferent. He was not affected by the laughter of the crowd. As an elite of the heavenly realm, why would Mo Shanjian care about the opinions of ordinary people? You have guts. The bald martial cultivator Li Jin was about to cripple Fengyu Xian when he saw a middle-aged celestial being from the Tang Empire standing in front of him. He couldn't help but laugh. You think you can save that woman? Can't I? Mo Shanjian smiled and raised his hand. Immediately, a wave of mysterious jade-level rule energy swept out. It was the mountain and river rule that the Mo clan cultivated. The power of laws appeared and immediately formed a large landscape, enveloping both Mo Shanjian and Li Jin within it. Flame burn. Li Jin did not even think and waved the flame banner in his hand. Suddenly, a fierce flame roared out, as if it wanted to tear the landscape into pieces. Unfortunately, Mo Shanjian was not a little girl like Fengyu Xian, nor was he an elite who had just broken through to the heavenly realm. Mo Shanjian had been in the heavenly realm for more than 10 years. Even though he had not broken through to the human glory realm, he was not far from it. Using water to defeat fire, Mo Shanjian bellowed. Immediately, a monstrous wave condensed in the panorama of mountains and rivers, crashing towards Li Jin's raging flames. In an instant, Li Jin's flame energy was extinguished by the power of the mountain and river rule. Then a huge mountain came crashing down and pressed Li Jin to the ground. Chapter 394. The bald martial cultivator, Li Jin, who had easily defeated Feng Yusin, was now completely suppressed by Mo Shanjian's power, which countered his strength. Who sent you? Mo Shanjian took a step forward, full of metal and a smile in his eyes. If you tell the truth, I'll be lenient. If your backer can scare me, I might let you go. Li Jin was completely suppressed on the ground by a huge mountain. He struggled, but could not escape. He could only grit his teeth and say, I'm from the Thundercloud Fortress. Let go of me now, or it'll be too late for regrets. Thundercloud Fortress? Is it a sect from the Beihai Kingdom? Someone asked curiously as soon as the words Thundercloud Fortress came out. Puffed. Wulsh asterisk T. Who does the Beihai Kingdom think they are? How can they be compared to the Thundercloud Fortress? Li Jin snorted angrily. He was extremely unhappy with the person who spoke. However, it was normal for the martial cultivators of the Tang Empire not to know about the Thundercloud Fortress. After all, it was something that even some celestial realm powerhouses did not know. Mo Shanjian was not one of them. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Thundercloud Fortress. You're from the Thundercloud Fortress? I didn't expect that, but makes sense. The backer of the Beihai Kingdom's imperial family is the Thundercloud Fortress. You know about the Thundercloud Fortress? Let go of me now, Li Jin said proudly. Wait until your backer is here. I haven't confirmed whether you're from the Thundercloud Fortress or not. Mo Shanjian was not moved at all. Instead, he used the power of the law to suppress Li Jin even more, causing the bald martial cultivator to look extremely pained. You'll have to pay a price for behaving atrociously in the Tang Empire, Mo Shanjian said lightly. Mo Shanjian, why aren't you stopping? At this moment, someone finally stopped him. It was the celestial realm powerhouse from the Long family, Long Tianming. Long Tianming took a step forward, and the true spirit of the blood dragon appeared behind him. The power of the blood dragon law burst out and instantly hit the mountain that was suppressing Li Jin. The blood dragon law collided with the law of mountains and rivers. As Mo Shanjian was unprepared, he was blasted away by Long Tianming. Li Jin broke free and immediately jumped up. It seems that the Tang Empire still has people who know what's good for them. Li Jin looked at Long Tianming with satisfaction. Wait for my boss to come. He might be able to give your family some benefits. You're welcome. This is what I should do. The elder with sharp eyebrows, Long Tianming, said faintly, but this Mo Shanjian and the Feng clan have offended your sect. I hope that your sect will not be implicated. Don't worry, other than this guy playing with water and the Feng clan, I won't touch anyone else in the Tang Empire. Then he raised his head to look at Mo Shanjian and said proudly, what do you think? Even people from your own country have come to deal with you. Don't you think you're a failure? Long Tianming. Mo Shanjian was blasted away by Long Tianming. He looked at Long Tianming and frowned. There are other cultivators from our great Tang Empire who came to cause trouble. It's fine if you didn't help them, but you actually attacked your own people. What kind of logic is this? Mo Shanjian. Don't forget, the Tang Empire doesn't belong to you alone. Long Tianming snorted. You offended the people from the Thundercloud Fortress. Aren't you afraid that the Tang Empire will be destroyed? Ha ha, that's easy to say. Mo Shanjian laughed out loud. Didn't you just want to use this opportunity to get rid of the Feng clan and build a relationship with the Thundercloud Fortress? Anyone with eyes can see it. You don't have to make it sound so dignified. Think what you want. But today, with me here, don't even think about helping the Feng clan. Long Tianming stood in front of Mo Shanjian, stopping him from attacking. Seeing Long Tianming and Mo Shanjian's confrontation, the surrounding people were dumbfounded. They hadn't even dealt with this foreign cultivator yet. Why were they fighting each other? Logically speaking, the Long clan's ancestor did not seem to be in the right. He was actually helping an outsider to bully his own people. However, it seemed that the Long clan's ancestor was right. If the Feng clan was not destroyed today, then the people from the Thundercloud Fortress would all come over. The entire Tang Empire would be in danger. Long Yu was watching from afar. He was surprised that Mo Shanjian would stand up for him. However, before he could rejoice for long, Long Tianming also made his move. This Long clan is known as the Great Tang Empire's General Clan. They have fought for the country and its people for many years. Now that they are being invaded by foreign cultivators, the Long clan's ancestor is actually so shameless. Long Yu thought to himself. He was even more disappointed in the Long clan now. Actually, his father, Long Zaiqian, had made great contributions to the Tang Empire. Later on, he was expelled from the Long clan and the Tang Empire. From this matter, Long Yu could see that the Long clan was completely controlled by vile people. Long Yu did not dare to say that all the Long clan members were vile people, but at least most of them were. Thinking back to Long, Salongji, and now Long Tianming, all of their actions were disgusting. With Mo Shanjian blocked, I'm afraid the others won't be able to stand up. This bald Li Jin, I've tolerated him for a long time. Now that there's a chance, I might as well kill him. Long Yu thought to himself. He finally decided to make his move. In the Feng clan's mansion, Feng Yu Xin rose into the sky. Immediately after, the bald martial cultivator, Li Jin, also flew up with the flame banner in his hand. A battle between celestial realm experts was extremely destructive. For example, when Mo Shanjian suppressed Li Jin, he directly destroyed more than half of the Feng clan's ground. Therefore, when Feng Yu Xin saw that Li Jin was about to make his move, she did not want to fight too close to the ground. Even if she wanted to fight, she wanted to stay as far away from the Feng clan as possible. Feng Yu Xin flew into the sky. In the eyes of the people below, she was only the size of an ant. Li Jin did not hesitate and directly chased after her. Little girl, if you beg for mercy now, I might let you live and let you serve me. How about it? Are you willing? Li Jin looked at Feng Yu Xin, his eyes filled with greed. Dream on. Feng Yu Xin snorted. She was unmoved. She raised her hand, and the law of heaven suppressing suddenly burst out. You don't know what's good for you. Since you're so stubborn, I'll show you what I can do. Li Jin sneered. He was about to use some martial arts technique, but at this moment, a frightening beam of the law of thunder and lightning broke through the air behind him. The next moment, it penetrated his chest and shattered his heart meridian. Heavenly mandate, divine light, law of nightmare, thunder. Long Yu appeared in the sky, wearing a ghost mask. As Li Jin's body lost its vitality and fell to the ground, Feng Yu Xin saw Long Yu immediately. Feng Yu Xin's eyes were filled with surprise. The person in front of her felt somewhat familiar. He was like Brother Long Yu from a long time ago. However, this person was wearing a mask, as if he did not want others to know his identity. Brother Long Yu? Feng Yu Xin asked tentatively. Long Yu looked at Feng Yu Xin through the ghost mask. He shook his head slowly and did not admit his identity. He had appeared to help the Feng family, but he did not want to reveal his identity. Otherwise, the Feng family would definitely be in trouble, and Feng Yu Xin would not be able to solve these problems. After killing Li Jin with ease, Long Yu used the power of the hidden divine rune. His whole body suddenly disappeared from the sky. Feng Yu Xin's vision blurred. She found that she could not see Long Yu's figure. This made her feel a little strange. But then, she saw two other celestial secret realm martial arts practitioners in the distance, rushing over. Feng Yu Xin's heart skipped a beat, and she quickly landed in the Feng residence. At this moment, Li Jin's body had fallen in the Feng residence. It had already caused a commotion. Everyone saw a figure suddenly appear in the sky and kill Li Jin. No one knew who that person was, but they knew that Li Jin was dead. A martial arts practitioner from the Thundercloud Fortress had died here. This meant that the entire Tang Empire might be facing a crisis. Look at what you've done. Long Tianming's face was filled with anger. He flew directly towards Feng Yu Xin. He raised his hand, and the blood dragon, true spirit, appeared. It condensed into a blood cloud and swept towards Feng Yu Xin. Stop! When Mo Shanjian saw this, he immediately activated the laws of mountains and rivers. A huge wave met the blood cloud and blocked it. Long Tianming and Mo Shanjian were fighting. The tyrannical power of the law clashed fiercely. Waves of air spread rapidly, forming a strong wind that blew everyone in the Feng residence. Stop fighting, stop fighting. There are other powerful people coming. We should think of a way to deal with them. Feng Yu Xin saw the two fighting and looked at the two people flying over from the distance. She became more and more anxious. You guys killed the people from the Thundercloud Fortress. It has nothing to do with me. Why should I think of a way? Long Tianming, of course, also saw the people coming from the distance. But he was not worried. He thought that since he had stood up for Li Jin, the people from the Thundercloud Fortress would not make things difficult for him. As long as he captured Mo Shanjian and Feng Yuexian, he could claim credit from the people from the Thundercloud Fortress. However, it was impossible for him to capture Mo Shanjian and Feng Yuexian alone. Chu Xian, hurry up and come help. Do you want the entire Tang Empire to be destroyed because of this? Long Tianming shouted at Chu Xian, who was on the roof below. I'm just here to watch the show. Chu Xian smiled faintly. She had no intention of helping at all. This made Long Tianming angry. He thought to himself that when the people from the Thundercloud Fortress arrived, he would definitely include Chu Xian. An expert of the celestial being's secret realm could fly at an extremely fast speed. Not long after, the two people in the sky arrived in front of everyone. One of them was an old man in a golden robe. He had the same cultivation as Long Tianming, Mo Shanjian, and Feng Yuexian, a human initial stage cultivator. However, the other person was wearing a black cloak. His cultivation was extremely tyrannical, surpassing everyone present. He was actually an expert in the human elite stage. Chapter 395. When Wolf 7, who was wearing a black cloak, arrived in the sky above the Feng clan's residence, everyone was shocked by the aura he emitted. Although they were all Empyrean secret realm cultivators, the person in front of them was obviously several times stronger than everyone else present. The Renoir realm. The expressions of Mo Shanjian, Long Tianming, and the other Empyrean secret realm cultivators changed drastically. The newcomer was indeed a Renoir realm cultivator. Although there was only one of him, he alone could probably wipe out the entire Tang Empire. As expected of an expert from the Thundercloud Fortress, Long Tianming raised his white eyebrows. Senior, this Mo Shanjian and the Feng clan killed the messenger from the Thundercloud Fortress. I was just about to capture him. The Empyrean secret realm alchemist, Che Jianzi, glanced at Long Tianming and chuckled. Not bad, not bad. However, the black-cloaked Wolf 7 didn't even look at Long Tianming. Wolf 7 glanced at Li Jin's corpse on the ground and frowned. He could tell that the person who killed Li Jin was definitely not Mo Shanjian, who had comprehended the law of nature, or Feng Yuexian, who had comprehended the law of heaven. There was someone else hiding in the dark. Long Tianming was a little displeased that Wolf 7 ignored him. However, he was a Renoir realm cultivator, so it was reasonable for him to have such an attitude. Take them down. Wolf 7's hoarse voice sounded, and he looked at Mo Shanjian and Feng Yuexian like a ferocious wolf. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hands under the black cloak, and a gust of wind swept out. It was the law of the divine monument at the earthly seal level. The law of wind filled the sky, enveloping Mo Shanjian and Feng Yuexian. Wolf 7 was always on guard against the person hiding in the dark, so he didn't use his full strength. Therefore, Mo Shanjian and Feng Yuexian managed to resist it together. The true spirit of the blood dragon behind Long Tianming took the opportunity to fly up. It roared and quickly approached Feng Yuexian, trying to envelop her in a blood cloud. Heavenly mandate, divine light, light screen. At this moment, a dazzling light screen formed by lightning appeared in front of Feng Yuexian and blocked the blood cloud easily. At the same time, the figure of the masked youth appeared again, which made Feng Yuexian even more curious. Who could this fellow be when she was in danger? Moreover, the powerhouses of the Thundercloud Fortress had already arrived, yet this fellow still chose to appear. Could it be that he was extremely confident in his own strength? It was as if no attack could break through the barrier formed by lightning. Long Tianming's blood cloud and the blood dragon's true spirit were swept into the barrier, and they instantly suffered a powerful blow. Long Tianming's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly retracted his blood dragon true spirit, only to find that his true spirit had already been destroyed by the lightning barrier. What martial skill is this? Long Tianming was very clear in his heart that the light screen formed by the resplendent lightning was much stronger than any martial technique he had comprehended. He continued to retreat. Since the other party was so strong, what happened next had nothing to do with him. Anyway, the Renoir realm cultivators of the Thundercloud Castle had already appeared, so he wasn't afraid that the masked man would be able to escape. "You're here," Wolf Seven's hoarse voice sounded, and then he flew toward where Long Yu was wearing a black cloak. "You're just a kid in the initial human realm. How dare you show up? You're courting death." Long Yu floated in the air, watching Wolf Seven flying toward him. He was extremely calm. He had used the heavenly mandate divine light to defend himself just now because he didn't want others to recognize him. The heavenly mandate divine light was the ultimate skill of the heavenly mandate sacred institute. If he used it, no one would think that he was Long Yu. Wolf Seven was in the Renoir realm, but for the current Long Yu, he was not a strong cultivator. Heavenly mandate divine light condense. Long Yu raised his hand, and the law of nightmare thunder condensed in his hand, forming a vast electric net that blocked in front of Wolf Seven. "You're from the heavenly mandate sacred institute." Wolf Seven's pupils contracted. The heavenly mandate divine light was a very famous ultimate skill of the heavenly mandate sacred institute. Not only could it be activated by qi, but it could also be activated by the laws of heaven and earth to exert greater power. Wolf Seven had not learned such a martial arts skill. However, his advantage was his cultivation in the Renoir realm. "Even if you know the heavenly mandate divine light, you're no match for me in a head-on fight." A ferocious look appeared in Wolf Seven's eyes. With a shift of his mind, an extremely strong gust of wind swept over. At the same time, the true spirit of a tornado appeared behind him, instantly increasing the power of the gust by several times. Heavenly mandate divine light, sun, flame. A wave of flames burst out and condensed into a beam that blasted out. When it entered the center of the gust, it suddenly exploded and turned into a sea of fire. This kid has actually comprehended the heavenly mandate divine light to the peak level. Wolf Seven's attack was completely blown away, causing his face to twitch a little. A kid in the initial human realm can actually comprehend the heavenly mandate divine light. Not bad. Not bad. You're very good. Wolf Seven's eyes were as fierce as a wolf's. "It's a pity that you're still only in the initial human realm." As his voice fell, Wolf Seven took out an elixir and swallowed it. Suddenly, his entire aura changed abruptly. Wolf Seven, I didn't expect you to take my chi-exploding pill to deal with a kid in the initial human realm. What a waste." Che Jianzi, who was wearing a golden robe, smiled sinisterly. "What do you know?" Wolf Seven snorted coldly and then looked at Long Yu. "Although I don't know what your identity is in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute, since you've interfered and killed people from Thundercloud Castle, don't even think about leaving alive. Chi-exploding pill. After taking it, you won't be able to absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth for a period of time, and your martial arts realm will stagnate. However, in exchange, you'll have twice the original explosive power." Long Yu laughed in another sharp voice and said, "You're really going all out, but even so." Before he finished speaking, Long Yu raised his hand, and a dark light condensed in his palm. Then the dark lines of the Yu character appeared, and the power of the Yu character was integrated into the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light. Heavenly Mandate Divine Light, 9 Serenities. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes, and the dark heavenly mandate divine light broke through the air. Before Wolf Seven could even react, his body was penetrated by the dark heavenly mandate divine light. Fortunately, his long-term combat instincts helped him avoid being hit in the vital parts, and he protected his heart meridian in the emergency, so he did not die immediately. However, the heavenly mandate divine light condensed by the power of the Yu character had already penetrated his chest, and the 9 Serenities' chi began to seep into his body. Wolf Seven's eyes under the black cloak were full of fear. He did not expect Long Yu to have hidden such a trick. He was able to use such a powerful method with a cultivation of the human initial realm. The strongest part of the heavenly mandate divine light was that it could be condensed by the power of the divine text, thereby increasing the power of the divine text. In a sense, the heavenly mandate divine light was already a kind of magic, a kind of acquired magic, and not just a martial arts technique. Wolf 7 felt that he could not do it. He quickly used 1% of the power of the hide character, and his whole body became faintly discernible. He wanted to escape. However, how could Long Yu allow him to do as he wished? The hide character comes from the power of the divine text of Wang Chongfeng. You only need to understand 1% of it to be able to change between real and fake, hide the location of your real body, and then escape or chase. Long Yu said lightly, "Am I right?" As his voice fell, Wolf 7, who was about to escape, was stunned. Who on earth was this kid? How did he know the power of the hide character? He was about to hide his body and turn into an illusion to escape, but Long Yu saw his whereabouts clearly. There was no other reason. Long Yu's understanding of the hide character was many times better than Wolf 7's. When it came to hiding, who could compare to Long Yu? Just from a flow of the aura in the air, Long Yu could clearly feel the specific location of Wolf 7. Heavenly mandate, divine light, nightmare thunder, explosion of light. The bright thunder and lightning divine light reappeared and instantly blasted out. It suddenly exploded beside Wolf 7, charring his whole body. He fell into the Feng family's mansion with a bang. This time, Wolf 7 was completely killed, and there was no breath of life. Who the hell are you? In midair, the alchemist Che Jinzi, who was wearing a golden robe, was shocked by this scene and could not help but ask. To be able to defeat Wolf 7, who was in the Renhua realm, with a cultivation of the human initial realm, this kid was definitely not an ordinary person. Moreover, he could actually understand the ultimate skill of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute, the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light, to such a level. This was not something that ordinary people could do. At least, Che Jinzi was completely sure that there was no such expert in the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. He also did not know which academy of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute he came from. As for people outside of the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute, Che Jinzi did not think about it all, because it was impossible to learn the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light if they were not from the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. He was doomed. Che Jinzi knew that once Wolf 7 died, it was impossible for him to escape. He only regretted that he had underestimated the Tang Empire this time and ran over with Wolf 7 without notifying the Thundercloud Fortress. Now, the Thundercloud Fortress would probably not even know where they died. Heavenly Mandate, Divine Light, Explosion of Light. Long Yu glanced at Che Jinzi and had no intention of showing mercy. He raised his hand, and the Thundercloud Divine Light suddenly swept over, blasting Che Jinzi's whole body into a charred state. With a bang, Che Jinzi fell into the Feng family's mansion. The people from the Thundercloud Fortress had been dealt with, so Long Yu did not stay in place for too long. He just glanced at the people in the Feng family's mansion below, and then instantly hid his figure and disappeared in front of everyone. From the appearance of Wolf 7 to the death of Che Jinzi, only a few breaths of time had passed. Before the people below could react, the high-spirited warriors from the Thundercloud Fortress who had just arrived had both died. So strong, many people were reminiscing about the battle figure of Long Yu. They were attracted by his strong posture and could not help but sigh. Long Tianming, can you stop now? Mo Shanjian calmed down and looked at the old man, Long Tianming, and said lightly. Long Tianming's real spirit was directly destroyed by Long Yu's Thundercloud Divine Light. At this moment, he had no more power to fight, so of course, he did not dare to say anything. Let's go. Long Tianming led the people of the Long family and turned to leave. He knew that if he stayed any longer, he would be the object of ridicule. Chapter 396. Long Yu hid in the shadows. looking at Long Tianming's departing figure without a trace of emotion in his eyes. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that Long Tianming was the ancestor of the Long clan, he would have killed him just now. However, in the future, if Long Tianming dared to do anything to the Feng clan, Long Yu wouldn't mind taking his life. Long Yu wasn't a member of the Long family anymore. He let Long Tianming go this time for the sake of his bloodline. If there was a next time, it wouldn't be so easy. In the Feng mansion, the people of the Feng family, the Jintian clan, and the Ice sect all breathed a sigh of relief. They looked at the corpses of Wolf 7, Che Jianzi, and Li Jin with mixed feelings. In the world of martial arts were respected. Even someone as strong as Wolf 7, who was in the Renhua realm, could only face death in front of a stronger opponent. He just didn't know who that young man wearing a devil mask was. This was something that everyone wanted to know. However, not many people truly knew about it. Even Feng Chang'e wasn't too sure about Long Yu's identity. After all, the last time Long Yu appeared, he wore a clown mask. This time, he wore a black robe and a grimace mask. He looked completely different, and the last time Long Yu appeared, he didn't show any power. The masked young man before him was simply too strong. He was so strong that it was unbelievable. Feng Chang'e could not believe that he was Long Yu. I wonder who is helping the Feng family. Feng Yusen landed in the Feng mansion and stood with Feng Xiaofei, Feng Haofeng, and the others. She frowned. She felt that the man wearing the grimace mask looked like Long Yu, but Long Yu was supposed to be dead. Even if he was still alive, he couldn't have learned the ultimate skill of the Sacred Institute of Heavenly Mandate, right? From Wolf 7, they all knew that the man just displayed the ultimate skill of the Sacred Institute of Heavenly Mandate, the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light. Could it be someone sent by Yi Luan? Feng Haofeng said in a deep voice. He raised his head and glanced at Deng Shun, Tu Yi, and the other two. Our young master didn't tell us. Deng Shun shook his head, indicating that it wasn't Yi Luan. It shouldn't be Yi Luan's men. Mo Shanjian landed as well. He pondered for a moment and said, Yellow Sand Sky City, where Yi Luan is from, has always been at odds with the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute. Yi Luan has not been able to get a cultivator like the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute to come and help. That's strange. Could it be that someone from our Feng clan met an expert outside? No matter how they guessed, and many of them even thought of Long Yu, they couldn't be sure. Moreover, they all felt that the possibility of the person wearing the ghost mask being Long Yu was extremely low. Long Yu's goal of wearing a mask to hide his identity had been achieved. Since they couldn't figure out the identity of the masked man, they didn't think too much about it. There were still many things they needed to do. Yuchi clan, Luo clan, Wang clan, you three clans colluded with outsiders to attack the Feng clan. Unfortunately, you didn't expect us to have a senior protecting us. Are you disappointed? Feng Chang'e raised his head and glanced at the people of the three clans who were about to take advantage of the chaos to leave. His eyes flashed. Not at all. We don't know anything. The head of the Luo clan looked embarrassed. He quickly said that, but he didn't dare to move his feet. These people have to be killed. Otherwise, they will find a way to spread the news. Mo Shanjian said plainly, Disciples of the Feng clan, listen up. Capture the people of the three clans. Feng Chang'e directly ordered Little Fei, Haofeng, get rid of the bodies of these three guys. If there's anything valuable on them, keep it first. When there's a chance, sell it somewhere far away. Yes, there were more than 100 disciples of the Feng clan. They immediately nodded in agreement. Their voices shook the sky. The people of the Yuchi clan, Luo clan, and Wang clan were instantly scared out of their wits. Not to mention that not all of their clans were present. Even if all of their clans were present, they still wouldn't be a match for the current Feng clan. It had to be known that in the current Feng clan, there were close to 10 rank 9 true spirit cultivators. As for their three great clans, the strongest patriarch was only at the rank 8 true spirit, at most at the rank 9 true spirit. If they were to fight, the three great clans would have no chance of winning. However, today, the Feng clan was determined to defeat the three great clans. Otherwise, sooner or later, they would cause even more trouble for them. Not long after, the chaos in the Feng clan's mansion disappeared without a trace. What replaced it was a scene of tidiness and solemnity. The disciples of the Feng clan had captured all the people from the three great clans and locked them in the Feng clan's dungeon. Including the patriarchs of the three great clans, none of them were spared. Even Long Tianming from the Long family had turned around and left. No one present would plead for the three great clans. Other than the three great clans, although the people from the Tang dynasty's martial sect did not participate in this matter and had only been watching from the sidelines, they were all captured by Feng Chang'e and prepared to be beaten up. What happened in the Feng clan's mansion today had caused the deaths of 3 experts from the Thundercloud Fortress. If this news were to spread, it would definitely bring disaster to the Thundercloud Fortress and even the Great Tang Empire. In order to prevent such a thing from happening, Feng Chang'e, Imo Shanjian, and the imperial daughter Chu Xian would definitely give the order to seal off the news of this matter. If anyone were to talk about today's matter, they would be beheaded without exception. In addition, martial law was enforced on all the roads leading to the Northern Sea Kingdom. Anyone who wanted to go to the Northern Sea Kingdom had to be checked to ensure that they were not going to the Northern Sea Kingdom to snitch. Even imperial daughter Chu Xian had joined the ranks of keeping it a secret. It would not be easy for the news of this matter to spread out. They were afraid that the Thundercloud Fortress had their own ways of finding out that their 3 disciples had died here. If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Of course, they could still push the blame onto the young man wearing the ghost mask. As for whether the other party believed it or not, it was not something they could influence. The storm of the Feng clan soon came to an end. Long Yu continued to hide in the Great Tang Imperial City, but he had changed his clothes to avoid being recognized. He kept receiving news that the entire Great Tang Imperial City was now in a state of martial law. Anyone who entered or left would be interrogated. After the Feng clan captured the main figures of the 3 great families, the various businesses and operations of the 3 great families were soon in a state of paralysis. Many shops closed down and were replaced by the Feng clan, the Ice sect, and the Jintian clan. After this incident, the Long clan suddenly became much more low-key. In fact, the Long clan of the General clan had been in a bad situation in recent years. This was because no one in the younger generation could take over Long Tianming's position and lead the entire Long clan. The fundamental reason was that the Long clan did not have a new Empyrean Secret Realm expert. This made the Long clan situation quite bad. Long Tianming was already old. If no Empyrean Secret Realm expert appeared in the Long clan in another 10 years, the General Dragon Sword would probably become history. And the source of all this was obviously the continuous loss of geniuses in the Long clan. For example, Long Zetian had been driven out of the Long clan. If he was still there, he would have become an Empyrean Secret Realm expert. And it was not so easy for Long Hen, Long Su, and Long Ji, whom the Long clan focused on cultivating, to enter the Empyrean Secret Realm. At least, Long Su and Long Ji had no hope. They could only pin their hopes on Long Hen. Unfortunately, Long Hen was eliminated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection. At this moment, the rise of the Feng clan's Feng Yusin was a big challenge for the Long clan. If they were not careful, the Feng clan would completely replace the Long clan in 10 years. Of course, it might not take that long. Lu Yuan is fine. Yusin has entered the Empyrean realm, and Father has also advanced to the rank 9 True Spirit. The Feng clan is getting stronger and stronger. I can rest assured. Long Yu narrowed his eyes and thought. Even if the Thundercloud Castle found out about this at this critical moment when the Great Selection is about to begin, I'm afraid they won't spend any effort to send people to deal with the Feng clan. What's more, the Feng clan now has Yiluan's people. If they really encounter a crisis that they can't resist, Yiluan will definitely not stand by and do nothing. Following that, Long Yu calmed his heart and continued to cultivate the Crying Heaven blood cultivation technique. Finally, after more than half a month, Long Yu had a little understanding of the heavenly blood technique and grasped a bit of the concept of the heavenly crystal level law. Now that I've grasped a little bit, the rest will be much easier. What's more, the heavenly blood technique is a mental cultivation method. As long as I cultivate according to the recorded method, I will be able to comprehend the heavenly blood technique sooner or later. The only difference is the speed. Long Yu's heart was greatly reassured. He casually tried the concept of the heavenly blood technique and found that the heavenly crystal level law was indeed extraordinary. Compared to any of the heavenly monument laws that Long Yu had comprehended, the power of the heavenly blood technique was much stronger and extremely domineering. The power of Long Yu's punch with the concept of the heavenly blood technique was actually comparable to the moon blade light. If the heavenly blood technique was comprehended as a law, wouldn't its power be more than 10 times stronger than the Earth Seal level laws like the Moon, Een, and Nightmare Thunder? After waiting for a month, Yiluan arrived as promised. When they separated in the heavenly cloud sword country's Yinyue city, Long Yu and Yiluan agreed to meet in the Great Tang Imperial City a month later. Yiluan would then take him to the Yellow Sand Sky City. On this day, while Long Yu was cultivating the heavenly blood technique, he suddenly felt an extremely strong aura in the distance, constantly approaching from the sky. He hid his body and quietly rose into the air. He was surprised to find that the aura was from Yiluan, human tribulation realm. Long Yu was awestruck. In just a month, Yiluan had finally made a breakthrough in the martial Dao and reached the human tribulation realm, human initial realm, human glory realm, human tribulation realm. Every realm in a martial Dao would result in a difference in combat power by several times. Once one broke through to a new realm, the power that one comprehended would undergo a transformation. If it was said that Long Yu had absolute confidence in defeating Yulin, who was in the human glory realm, then Long Yu's confidence in defeating Yulin, who was now in the human tribulation realm, was less than 30%. And this was under the situation where he had used all his trump cards. The martial Dao realm is the foundation of the martial Dao. No matter what law or divine text one comprehends, the martial Dao realm is still the most important. Long Yu was slightly emotional. Chapter 397. Long Yu left a puzzle for the Tang Empire and left with Yiluan. For the people of the Tang Empire, perhaps for a long period of time, they would be in awe of the young expert wearing the ghost mask. However, for Long Yu, he was about to face a new round of challenges. In the Heavenly Dipper realm, the 7 major forces and many hidden forces would participate in the great selection from the outside world, which would inevitably intensify conflicts. As Long Yu flew toward the Heavenly Dipper realm, he asked Yiluan in front of him, "By the way, Brother Yi, I want to ask if you know a genius in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute with the surname Yen. He should have been selected to enter the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute 16 years ago." He suddenly thought of Yen Huanma, so he could ask. If Yen Huanma's younger brother, who ran away 16 years ago, was really extremely talented, then he should be famous throughout the Heavenly Dipper realm. A genius with the surname Yen? Yiluan thought for a moment and shook his head. "I don't have any impression. But in the Kanglan Sword sect, there's a master with the surname Yen called Yen Xing. Unfortunately, I have never seen that person, but I heard that he is very strong." Kanglan Sword sect? Yen Xing? Long Yu frowned slightly and said, "Then it shouldn't be him. He should have entered the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute back then. It shouldn't be possible for him to leave the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute and join the Azure Watersword sect, right? That's not necessarily true." Yiluan chuckled. In the Heavenly Dipper realm, it is not uncommon for genius disciples to transfer sections. If they are not talented, they won't want them even if you give them to them. But if they are real geniuses, every force will fight for them. Geniuses also have the right to choose. Of course, I don't know about Yen Xing's past. In the Great Selection in 3 months, all the warriors in the Heavenly Dipper realm will gather together, and then all the hidden warriors will show up. After Yiluan finished, there was a look of yearning in his eyes. Passing the Great Selection and going out of the Heavenly Mandate continent was the desire of most warriors in the Heavenly Dipper realm. Unfortunately, it was extremely difficult to pass the Great Selection, and even countless people died in the process. If one was not a real genius, it was extremely difficult to pass the 3 tests of the Great Selection. Long Yu nodded. Since Yiluan didn't know about this, he could only wait for the Great Selection in 3 months. The Great Selection was a grand event of the entire Heavenly Dipper realm. Even if many people knew that they had no hope of passing the Great Selection, they would still show up. This was because the first test was to test a martial cultivator's attributes. This was a rare opportunity for many martial cultivators to find out the true attributes of their body. After all, martial cultivators above the age of 40 did not have the right to participate in the Great Selection. Hence, most martial cultivators only had 1 chance in their lifetime. All the cultivators in the Heavenly Dipper realm would gather together. At that time, Yin Huanma, Man Xian, and Tian Yutian would definitely join the team from the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate. It's a pity that I can't meet them for the time being, Long Yu thought. Before ensuring his safety, Long Yu did not want to expose his identity, especially now that the ancient dragon skeleton tower had disappeared. He could not let anyone suspect him. Brother Yi, I'll be wearing a mask when I join Yellow Sand Heaven City and participate in the Great Selection. Long Yu said to Yiluan, if that's the case, I should give Brother Long a code name. Otherwise, you won't be able to hide your identity. Yiluan said with a smile. Code name, let's call you Mountain Ghost. Long Yu said casually. He did not care much about the code name. Mountain Ghost. Yiluan felt a little strange when he heard this name, but he did not ask much. It was just a code name. He did not need to think about it. Long Yu was wearing a ghost mask and a black robe. His entire person was like a mountain ghost. Coupled with the aura of the netherworld chi around his body, it gave off an awe-inspiring feeling at first glance. Yellow Sand Heaven City, as one of the 7 major forces in the Heavenly Dipper realm, was located on the 25th level of the Heavenly Mandate realm. It was much higher than the Northern Academy of Heavenly Mandate realm. Therefore, it was extremely difficult for ordinary martial cultivators to leave Yellow Sand Heaven City and go to the Heavenly Mandate continent below, unless they could reach the martial arts realm of the Renhua realm and break through the 25th level of the Heavenly Mandate realm. Of course, Yiluan was an exception. As the young master of Yellow Sand Heaven City, if he wanted to leave, there would be countless people willing to help him. Along the way, Yiluan carefully introduced Yellow Sand Heaven City and the current city lord of Yellow Sand City to Long Yu. Yellow Sand Heaven City, compared to the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute, was a relatively new force. It had only risen for less than 100 years. The first city lord was heroic and extremely talented. He had comprehended the law of the heavenly crystal level, yellow sky, flying sand. The first city lord led a group of trusted subordinates and established Yellow Sand Heaven City. He quickly rose in the Heavenly Mandate realm and became a powerful force that could not be ignored. The reason why Yellow Sand Heavenly City was named as one of the 7 major forces was that the first-generation city lord of Yellow Sand Heavenly City participated in the Great Selection and directly transcended the Heavenly Mandate continent. Not long afterward, he returned to the Heavenly Mandate continent and brought many cultivation resources from the outside world to Yellow Sand Heavenly City. Until now, Yellow Sand Heaven City could be considered to have truly risen. With cultivation resources, there was enough possibility to cultivate many genius cultivators. The first city lord did not stay in Yellow Sand Heaven City for long. He soon left. However, after the departure of the first city lord, Yellow Sand Heaven City could no longer be underestimated, because the second city lord of Yellow Sand Heaven City was also a super cultivator in the Heavenly Tribulation realm. He was only 1 step away from entering the secret realm. With a Heavenly Tribulation realm expert presiding over it, Yellow Sand Sky City could truly gain a foothold in the Heavenly Dipper realm. Even if the first-generation city lord never returned after leaving, nothing could affect Yellow Sand Sky City status. When the second city lord stepped into the heavenly tribulation realm, he was already old and did not have enough talent to make another breakthrough. After leading Yellow Sand Heaven City for 50 years, he finally let go. At this time, Yellow Sand Heaven City already had 3 cultivators in the heavenly tribulation realm. One of them did not have enough talent to break through the bottleneck and basically reach the end of his life, so he took over as the third city lord. And the other 2, with martial arts as the biggest goal of their lives, had been cultivating in seclusion until now and were the supreme elders of Yellow Sand Heaven City. Yi Luan followed the current third city lord, Sha Yuantian. The reason why Yi Luan was called Yellow Sand Heaven City's young lord was because Sha Yuantian had accepted Yi Luan as his personal disciple. The so-called personal disciple was a genius who could inherit the position of Yellow Sand Heaven City's city lord in the future. There are a total of 9 personal disciples of the city lord, including me. For the position of city lord, the competition between the 9 of us is quite intense. Yi Luan chuckled and said, "When you arrive at Yellow Sand Heaven City, I'm afraid you will encounter some people who will make things difficult for you. Remember, just ignore them. They only dare to talk. They definitely won't dare to make a move." "Why?" Long Yu asked curiously. "Because I'm most likely to inherit the position of city lord." Yi Luan was very confident about this and said casually, "Oh." Long Yu was a little surprised. He did not expect Yi Luan to be so confident in him. If you want to compete for the position of city lord of Yellow Sand Heaven City, the biggest prerequisite is to wait for the death of the third city lord, and this day will not come for at least 10 years. Yi Luan shook his head and said, "According to my current situation, I have already comprehended the yellow sky, flying sand law to the domain level. Among the 9 personal disciples of Master, I am the one most likely to achieve the heavenly crystal law. If you achieve the heavenly crystal law, won't you be able to pass the selection directly?" Long Yu was a little surprised. "However, my master has been urging me to stay, hoping that I will think for the sake of Yellow Sand Heaven City. If I can pass the selection, after 10 years, I must come back to inherit the position of the 4th city lord of Yellow Sand Heaven City." Yi Luan was a little helpless. "Your master is being too forceful," Yi Zichen said with a smile. Long Yu smiled bitterly. No matter who it was, if they could pass the selection, they would most likely not return to the Heavenly Mandate continent. This could be seen from the fact that there were no experts who had surpassed the Heavenly Tribulation realm in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. Yi Luan's master actually asked him to come back to inherit the position of City Lord. It was really a little unreasonable. At this time, Long Yu suddenly thought of Yin Huanma's younger brother. Her younger brother, wasn't it because he was dissatisfied with the Yin family's restrictions on his path of martial arts that he finally killed his father, resolutely participated in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection, and stepped into the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute? Judging from Yi Luan's attitude towards Feng Chang'e, it was unlikely that Yi Luan would kill the third city lord and pursue his own path of martial arts. But what would be the final result of the third city lord imprisoning Yi Luan like this? Long Yu did not know. Perhaps even Yi Luan himself did not know. Forget it, let's not think so much. Let's talk about the future in the future. Moreover, there are only 3 months left. There's almost no hope for me to achieve the yellow sky, flying sand law. Yi Luan shook his head and then laughed softly. If I cannot achieve the heavenly crystal law, with my current strength, the possibility of passing the selection is very small. Is the heavenly crystal law that difficult to comprehend? Long Yu asked. In our yellow sky sand city, the personal disciples of every generation of city lord can obtain the cultivation method of the yellow sky, flying sand. Yi Luan said, the yellow sky, flying sand law is a heavenly crystal law. It may not be difficult to comprehend the concept, but to comprehend its charm, the momentum of heaven and earth, the territory, and finally to achieve the law, each step is dozens of times more difficult than the last. Hearing this, Long Yu thought for a while. He now also had the cultivation method of the heavenly blood law. After half a month of cultivation, he finally comprehended its concept. Based on this, it was almost unrealistic for him to rely on this thing to pass the selection. There were only 3 months left, and no matter what, he could not achieve the heavenly blood law. Forget it. The boat will cross the bridge when it comes to the end. The selection is divided into 3 rounds of tests, and I want to try and see how difficult it is. If even I, who have the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds, cannot pass the 3 rounds of tests, this test is too harsh. Long Yu thought in his heart, but he did not pay it too much attention. He raised his head and followed Yi Luan, breaking through from the first level of the heavenly star border. Yi Luan did not bring Long Yu with him, deliberately wanted to see which level of the heavenly star border he could break through to. With the cultivation of the human initial realm, no matter how strong he is, the 10th level of the heavenly star border should be about the same. Chapter 398. There was no doubt that Long Yu's strength once again surprised Yi Luan. When he saw that Long Yu followed him and broke through the 24th level, Yi Luan was overjoyed. The stronger Long Yu he brought back was, the better it would be for him. Even as a friend, Yi Luan was happy to see that Long Yu's strength was stronger than he had imagined. Yellow Sand Sky City is located above the 25th level. I could only break through the 24th level before. I don't know if I can break through the 25th level now. Long Yu thought to himself. He did not ask Yi Luan for help. Instead, he raised his hand and gathered the divine light of heavenly mandate. With the power of the Yu character, he blasted out. The 25th level of the heavenly mandate was broken, and Long Yu rose into the air without any hindrance. Amazing! Yi Luan laughed. Mountain Ghost, this is the first time I have seen a martial arts practitioner in the initial realm break through the 25th level of the heavenly mandate. When he came here, Yi Luan no longer called Long Yu by his real name, but by his code name. Obviously, above the 25th level of the heavenly mandate was the territory of Yellow Sand Sky City. It was possible to see martial arts practitioners from Yellow Sand Sky City at any time. Some disciples of Yellow Sand Sky City in the initial realm, although they could not break through the heavenly mandate, could freely travel between the 2 levels. For them, this was the whole world they had lived in since they were young. Originally, Yi Luan did not care much about exposing the identity of Long Yu. Anyway, Yellow Sand Sky City and the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute were enemies. But since Long Yu did not want to make it public, he would use a code name, which was the same for him. I just wanted to try. I didn't expect that I would really come up. Long Yu smiled and said casually. He glanced around. The upper levels of the heavenly mandate were no different from the lower levels. The sky was full of colorful lights. The sky was colorful, and the ground was colorful. They were tens of thousands of feet apart, sandwiching this space in the middle. In the air not far away, there was a yellow sand building that looked like a sentry tower floating, which made Long Yu a little curious. He pointed and asked, "What is that?" "It's the Yellow Sand Watchtower," Yi Luan said. "There are more than 1,000 of these sentry towers on the 25th floor. They're separated by a certain distance from each other and can detect the situation within a certain range. Once a martial cultivator comes here, it will trigger the power of the laws in the Yellow Sand Sentry Tower and alert us that a guest has arrived. Most of the time, it's not a guest, but an enemy." Long Yu narrowed his eyes. "That's right. This sentry tower is mainly used to defend against enemies." Yi Luan nodded. "If I comprehend the Thundercloud Castle's hidden divine character, can I avoid the detection of these sentry towers?" Long Yu asked. "Hidden divine texts?" Yi Luan was a little surprised. "You know quite a lot. The power of the divine runes is higher than the power of the laws. Even if you only comprehend 1% of the power of the hidden divine rune, these sentry towers will not be able to detect you." "I see." Long Yu nodded his head, indicating that he understood. He also felt relieved. This way, if he wanted to escape, he only needed to activate the hidden divine rune to avoid these yellow sand sentry towers. To him, these yellow sand sentry towers were useless. Of course, if he didn't encounter any situations, there was no need for Long Yu to escape. It was just a precaution. This is the 121 Yellow Sand Sentry Tower. Follow the direction of the Sentry Tower, and you will see Yellow Sand Sky City after passing the first Sentry Tower. As Eluan spoke, he led the way in the air at an extremely fast speed. Long Yu followed closely behind him. Even though his martial realm was 2 levels lower than Yi Luan's, his speed was not inferior at all. Yi Luan was surprised to find that even if he flew at his fastest speed, Long Yu could extend a pair of pitch-black wings and keep up with him. This made Yi Luan a little puzzled. Could it be that Long Yu, who was only at the initial human realm, had the overall strength of a human tribulation realm expert like him? This was too exaggerated. Soon, the two of them flew through the air and passed by more than 100 yellow sand sentry towers. Then, a floating city formed by yellow sand appeared in front of them. During this period, Long Yu did not activate the slightest bit of the hidden divine rune to avoid being seen by others. When he saw the yellow sand sky city at first glance, even people who had seen the world couldn't help but be a little shocked. That yellow sand sky city was much larger than the heavenly mandate Sacred Institute. The entire yellow sand sky city was connected to the 26th layer of the Big Dipper and the 25th layer of the Big Dipper. It was like a stone pillar that occupied the entire space. How is it? Surprised? Yi Luan also said with a little pride, Yellow Sand Sky City actually has 2 layers. The lower layer is in the 25th layer of the Big Dipper, and the upper layer is in the 26th layer of the Big Dipper. Only the strong can go to the upper layer, and the others can only stay in the lower layer for life. Upper layer, lower layer. Long Yu couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The first city lord of Yellow Sand Sky City was really powerful. He actually expanded Yellow Sand Sky City to such an extent and connected 2 layers of the Big Dipper. It was amazing. Mountain Ghost, can you break through the 26th layer of the Big Dipper? Yi Luan asked. I don't know, but it's better not to attract too much attention. I'll stay in the lower layer for the time being. Long Yu said, shaking his head. All right, I'll arrange it for you. Yi Luan said, then reminded, you have to be careful. Yellow Sand Sky City is divided into many factions due to the competition between us 9 personal disciples. Someone might come looking for trouble with you. Yi Luan said, then added, of course, with your strength, the people in the lower layer can't do anything to you. If someone from the upper layer makes a move, I won't just stand by and watch. Long Yu nodded, indicating that he understood. The two flew towards the huge Yellow Sand Sky City. Soon, they noticed that there were many martial cultivators guarding the entrance of the huge city. Each of them was a heavenly realm or initial human realm expert. When they saw Yi Luan, these guards respectfully saluted, then glanced curiously at Long Yu, but they didn't ask anything. As one of the young masters of Yellow Sand Sky City, these guards naturally didn't dare to block Yi Luan's path. As for the people brought by Yi Luan, they also didn't dare to ask too much. These guards belonged to the neutral forces in the city, so no matter how the 9 personal disciples fought, they wouldn't offend any of them. After entering the city, Long Yu realized how huge this Yellow Sand Sky City was. After entering the city, the first thing he saw was a bustling street, but there was no sky, only a ceiling that looked like yellow sand. Even the ground was made of yellow sand. This is the 10th floor of Yellow Sand Sky City. The whole Yellow Sand Sky City has a total of 108 floors. Each floor is a city street like this. If you want to go to other floors, go to the center of each floor. As soon as Yi Luan's voice fell, Long Yu saw at a glance that there was indeed a beam of light in the center of the entire city, running from top to bottom. From that beam of light, one could smoothly go to the entire city up and down 108 floors. Of course, only those who could break through the 26th floor with their own strength were qualified to enter the top 54 floors. There were many people in Yellow Sand Sky City. Just like Beihai Imperial City and Soldier's Death City on the Heavenly Mandate continent, it was just a city, not a sect. After 100 years of development, all kinds of martial arts cultivators came to Yellow Sand Sky City, and many people reproduced here, so the whole Yellow Sand Sky City gradually developed and grew. Because of this, Yellow Sand Sky City didn't need to hold the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection to recruit disciples from the Heavenly Mandate continent like the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Academy did. Many of the descendants of the original residents in Yellow Sand Sky City had good martial arts talent. With the strength of Yellow Sand Sky City, it was quite easy to cultivate them. Mountain Ghost, in fact, you came the right time. Soon, the annual Sand City competition will be held. If you can win, you could get a lot of rewards. I believe these rewards will be very attractive to you. Yiluan led the way on the street and said to Long Yu with a smile. Along the way, people kept greeting Yiluan, which showed that he, as a young master, was quite important in Yellow Sand Sky City. Oh, what rewards are there? Long Yu didn't ask what the Sand City competition was. It was nothing more than a martial arts competition in Yellow Sand City, used to observe the cultivation of a younger generation. What he cared about was the reward and whether he was qualified to participate in the Sand City competition. There are a lot of rewards, the most important of which is that the top 3 can get the sky-level elixir left by the first-generation City Lord. Yiluan smiled and said, the first-generation City Lord returned from the outside world and left a lot of things. The sky-level elixir is only one of them, and there are thousands of them. Every year, the Sand City competition is held, and 3 of them are given out. Now, they're almost used up. Sky-level elixir. Long Yu was interested as soon as he heard this. He was now worried that there was not enough spiritual chi of heaven and earth for him to touch the bottleneck of breaking through. Since the Sand City competition had sky-level elixir as a reward, there was no reason for him to miss it. Can I participate in this Sand City competition? Long Yu asked. Yellow Sand City not only pays attention to its own inheritance, but also welcomes foreign martial cultivators. Mountain Ghost, since you follow me to the Sand City, you are considered a member of my Sand City. No matter what happens, the Sand City will take care of it for you. Naturally, you can participate in this Sand City competition. Yiluan replied. That's good. When does it start? Long Yu asked again. Half a month later. Yiluan replied, while squinting his eyes because he saw someone walking towards him. Following Yiluan's gaze, Long Yu saw a group of martial cultivators following behind a luxuriously dressed young man wearing a yellow robe. When that young man saw Yiluan, a fake smile appeared on his face. So, it is Junior Yi. Is this the prodigy that Junior Yi found from the continent? That luxurious youth glanced at Long Yu and didn't conceal the disdain in his eyes. I heard that the prodigy of the Sky Cloud Sword Nation, Yinues City, by Chinyin, was so infuriated by you that he ran to the Azure Water Sword sect. Now, he only brought back this plaything to make up the numbers? He is one of my master's 9 personal disciples, 7th senior brother, Qi Ziguang. Yiluan quietly introduced to Long Yu. He then lifted his head and glanced at the group of martial cultivators. In my eyes, that by Chunyin isn't even comparable to one of Brother Mountain Ghost's fingers. Ha ha ha! The luxurious youth, Qi Ziguang, suddenly laughed out loud, followed by the group of martial cultivators behind him. They all sized up Long Yu. A mere human initial realm martial cultivator, and a nobody at that. How could he be compared to the rumored prodigy by Chinyin? Chapter 399. Reaching the heavenly realm at the age of 16 was extremely rare in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. Bai Chunyin was indeed a rare genius. Only in Yiluan's eyes would he have a higher opinion of Long Yu. He wasn't interested in Long Yu's strength, but his potential and the secret he hid. That secret allowed Long Yu to survive being trapped in the Dragon Bone Tower. Even a cultivator in the Heavenly Trial Realm couldn't do that. Hearing Qi Ziguang and a group of martial artists behind him laugh, Long Yu knew that Qi Ziguang definitely didn't see eye to eye with Yiluan. Simply put, he was Yiluan's competitor. Qi Ziguang, you look like you're already 30 years old, but you're only at the human glory realm. How dare you make fun of young Master Yiluan? Long Yu glanced at the luxurious youth, Qi Ziguang, and mocked him with a faint smile. One had to know that Yiluan was only in his 20s, but he had already stepped into the human tribulation realm. He was obviously much more talented than Qi Ziguang. Hearing Long Yu's words, a black-faced martial artist in the human origin realm behind Qi Ziguang stepped forward and pointed at Long Yu. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to young Master Qi like that? Come out if you have the guts. I'll beat you up until you can't even recognize your face. Am I not speaking the truth? Long Yu chuckled. The mask on his face made him look extremely sinister. Since you've challenged me, I'll play with you first. Play. The black-faced martial artist sneered. How can you joke around on the path of martial arts? Since we're going to fight, we have to decide the winner. Either one of you admit defeat, or the other dies. Otherwise, you're a coward and can get out of Yellow Sand City. Good. Long Yu laughed and said the word good 3 times in a row. I admire people like you the most. Admit defeat or die. Not bad. As soon as he finished speaking, he stood up and faced the black-faced martial artist. Yilun didn't stop them. He looked at the 2 people facing each other, and a victorious smile appeared on his face. He was well aware of Long Yu's strength. The black-faced martial cultivator, who was also at the early human stage, was definitely no match for Long Yu. Provoking Long Yu like this was simply courting death. Of course, Yilun also understood that the reason Long Yu had taken the initiative to ridicule Qi Ziguang just now was to help him deal a blow to Qi Ziguang. There was also another reason, and that was to gain a foothold in the Yellow Sand Heavenly Star. If he could establish his prestige by attacking Qi Ziguang, it would certainly be very beneficial to Long Yu. At least when he was cultivating, there wouldn't be so many ignorant people coming to disturb him. This kid is only at the initial human realm, yet he dares to mock our young Master Qi. He's courting death. If Old Black didn't get there first, I would have gone up and taught this guy a lesson. Does this guy think he can scare others just by wearing a grimace mask? TSK, what a joke. Many martial cultivators behind Qi Ziguang continued to mock and ridicule. None of them were optimistic about Long Yu. After all, the black-faced martial cultivator, Old Black, was the strongest among them. Even though he hadn't reached the worldly glory realm, he could already fight against worldly glory realm elites for a period of time. An ordinary initial human realm martial cultivator wouldn't be able to break through Old Black's defense. Junior brother Yi. Qi Ziguang glanced at Yilun, who was behind Long Yu, and smiled faintly. I won't deny that your martial Dao talent is very strong. However, if you want to become the next city lord, you can't just rely on martial Dao talent alone. How to conduct oneself, how to manage subordinates, and how to select talents aren't something that can be done easily. As he spoke, he pointed at Long Yu, just like this guy. I heard that because of this guy, you actually offended the prodigy by Qinyan. You were forced to leave by Qinyan and join the Azure Watersword sect. Regarding this matter, you have truly disappointed Master. Hearing this, Yi Luan frowned slightly. Could it be that Master was aware of this matter? However, even so, Yi Luan did not regret his decision. That was because he was certain that Long Yu would definitely prove that his strength was extraordinary. At the same time, he would also prove that Yi Luan's judgment was extraordinary. Yi Luan glanced at Long Yu, but didn't say anything. He knew that Long Yu didn't need his encouragement, nor did he need any rewards. From Qi Ziguang's point of view, Long Yu might be a subordinate, but in reality, Yi Luan knew that he and Long Yu had a completely equal relationship. Kid, show me your strength. Let me see what gives you the right to be so arrogant here. The black-faced martial cultivator looked at Long Yu and spoke with disdain. Law of the Moon. With a thought, Long Yu immediately released the Law of the Moon and enveloped the black-faced martial cultivator. Law of the Heavenly Steel, you do have some tricks up your sleeves. No wonder you're so arrogant. It's a pity that you've met me. Consider yourself unlucky. The black-faced martial cultivator laughed coldly, following which a mud wall appeared in front of him and expanded outwards, blocking Long Yu's Law of the Moon. Law of the Forbidden Earth. The black-faced martial cultivator laughed arrogantly. It's the same law of the Heavenly Steel, but it's a defensive law. You want to use the law of the Heavenly Steel to break through the defense of the Forbidden Earth? You're simply delusional. Is that so? Long Yu didn't deny it. Lifting his hands, the true spirit of the moon appeared behind him. The power of the law of the moon instantly increased by several times and surged towards the black-faced martial cultivator like a huge wave. True spirit, I have one too. The black-faced martial cultivator laughed disdainfully. A huge pot of true spirit appeared behind him and spun around once. A terrifying pressure radiated from it, blocking the power of the law of the moon. Both of them were in the same martial arts plane and had both comprehended the law of the Earth Seal level. Both of them had released their true spirits. If they were to fight, the black-faced martial cultivator would indeed have the upper hand. This was because the defense of his law of the forbidden earth was quite strong. The law of the heavenly steel alone would not be able to break through it. And now, Long Yu, of course, could not use the heavenly mandate divine light or the hidden divine text. After all, one of them was a unique skill of the heavenly mandate sacred institute, and the other was a legacy of the Thundercloud Fortress. Once Long Yu used these two powers, wouldn't he be considered a spy? Of course, Long Yu had many tricks up his sleeve. Even if he could not use the heavenly mandate divine light, he would not lose to the black-faced martial cultivator in front of him. Heaven's suppressing sun. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up slightly. He directly released the true spirit of the sun and the true spirit of the moon. Instantly, the power of the law of the moon more than doubled. This scene caused the black-faced martial cultivator's expression to change slightly. It's two true spirits. The two true spirits appeared at the same time and actually showed signs of complementing each other. The true spirit of the sun was clearly the most common Yellowstone law, but could more than double the power of the law of the moon. Qi Ziguang and the people behind him were all a little surprised. They did not expect Long Yu to have some strength. However, if this is all, it is still impossible to break through the defense of the law of the forbidden earth. That's right. The defense of the black is like a turtle shell. It is impossible for him to lose to anyone in the same plane. Everyone whispered, still not thinking that Long Yu had any chance of winning. Long Yu's two true spirits appeared. Even though the power of the law of the moon had more than doubled, it still could not break through the defense of the law of the forbidden earth. Impressive. Long Yu could not help but praise. This was the first time he had seen a martial cultivator of the same plane as him able to withstand his attacks for so long. Since one power of the law could not win, then he would use two. If two was not enough, then he would use three. In the next instant, Long Yu's body flickered with lightning. The power of the law of the nightmare, lightning instantly merged with the air and shot towards the black-faced martial cultivator. Third-level law. The surrounding onlookers all cried out in alarm. No one had expected that the masked man called Mountain Ghost would actually comprehend three types of power of law. The first two, the Yellowstone and Earth Seal laws, complemented each other. But now, the power of the same Earth Seal law was actually being released from this fellow's body. It was clear that this kid was using the power of lightning to temper his body. Anyone who practiced body-tempering martial techniques would definitely have unimaginable willpower and patience. How strong was this fellow's willpower to temper his body with the power of lightning? When the law of the nightmare lightning appeared, the black-faced martial cultivator's expression changed. He had originally wanted to use some martial techniques to defeat Long Yu while the two were in a stalemate. He did not expect Long Yu to be able to use a third type of law. Nightmare lightning break. The power of the nightmare lightning in Long Yu's body exploded, instantly piercing through the air and landing on the black-faced martial cultivator's head. Law of the forbidden earth, block it for me. The black-faced martial cultivator's aura erupted. Layers of the forbidden earth formed a protective barrier around his body, finally isolating all the power of the nightmare lightning outside. However, the moment the black-faced martial cultivator retracted the law of the forbidden earth, a series of moonblade light condensed from the lunar true spirit behind Long Yu, tearing through the air. Pooh! 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 The power of the moonblade light was amplified by the heaven-suppressing sun, becoming much stronger than before. In an instant, it pierced through the layer of the forbidden earth that had been weakened by the law of the nightmare, lightning, and left several bloody holes on the black-faced martial cultivator's body. The black-faced martial cultivator spat out a mouthful of blood and retreated a few steps. He raised his head and glared at Long Yu. In the past, when he fought with other martial cultivators, he would use the law of the forbidden earth to create an absolute defense, taking advantage of the opportunity to find the opponent's weakness and defeat them in one move. But now, not only did the masked fellow not have any weakness to find, he had even comprehended two types of Earth Seal grade heavenly steel laws, breaking through the defense of the law of the forbidden earth. What are you looking at me for? Under the mask, Long Yu's gaze contained a hint of mockery. You just said that there is no joking on the path of martial arts. Since you're challenging me, you either die or admit defeat. Now, which one will you choose? Do you want to admit defeat? As he spoke, the sun and moon true spirits behind him shone brightly once again. Dozens of moonblade light rose from his back, accumulating power and waiting to be unleashed. Chapter 400. According to what the black-faced martial cultivator had said, there were only two paths he could take now. He could either admit defeat and get out of Yellow Sand Sky City, or he could face Long Yu's Moonblade Saber Ray and see if he could block it. Cold sweat trickled down the black-faced martial cultivator's face as he stared at the sun and moon true spirits behind Long Yu and the Moonblade Saber Ray. Right at this moment, an intense bolt of lightning suddenly swept over from the side, heading straight for Long Yu's head. Ungrateful brat, die. Behind Qi Ziguang, another initial human realm martial cultivator leaped forward with a ferocious look on his face. Lightning flashed between his hands as if he wanted to annihilate Long Yu. You can't beat me alone, so you want to gang up on me? The corners of Long Yu's lips curled up. He did not take the other person seriously at all. With a wave of his hand, the power of the law of nightmare, thunder, swept out. In the clash of two bolts of lightning, it was clear that Long Yu had the upper hand. This was because Long Yu's law of nightmare thunder was an Earth Seal grade law, while his opponent's lightning was only a mysterious Jade grade law. When the lightning from both sides collided, a loud explosion occurred. The sneak attacker was directly sent flying, while Long Yu was completely unaffected. However, this sneak attack had slightly diverted Long Yu's attention, allowing the black-faced martial cultivator to find an opportunity to counterattack. Forbidden Earth, explode. The black-faced martial cultivator shouted as a sinister smile appeared on his face. The power of the heavenly tablet law was unleashed. Long Yu felt the sand beneath his feet change slightly. Without hesitation, he stomped his feet, and the law of En erupted from his body, instantly colliding with his opponent's law of Forbidden Earth. The law of En and law of Forbidden Earth collided, causing a muffled explosion. A huge pit appeared beneath Long Yu's feet, causing yellow sand to fly everywhere. Go! The other two initial human realm martial cultivators behind Qi Ziguang gritted their teeth and charged forward, displaying their respective martial techniques at Long Yu. Violent fist of sand. One of them raised his fist, condensing dense yellow sand. Carrying the might of a ferocious tiger, he attacked Long Yu. This move is Yellow Sand City's transcendent profound level martial skill. It's extremely destructive. Yi Luan introduced behind Long Yu, but he did not sound nervous at all. He believed that Long Yu would be able to easily deal with such a move. Transcendent profound rank martial skill. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up slightly when he heard that. It reminded him of the heavenly mandate sword that he had encountered in the Dragon Bone Tower. The heavenly mandate divine sword was also a mysterious level supreme martial arts technique, but it was unable to do anything to Long Yu back then, let alone now. Awakening Samsara Palm, break. Long Yu's fist condensed the power of Samsara. The martial skill that he had not used for a long time once again displayed its unparalleled power, completely enveloping the opponent's fist. The power of a mysterious level supreme martial arts technique was immediately weakened to the extent that it was inferior to a mysterious level intermediate martial arts technique under the influence of awakening samsara palm. Drunk in hell, Long Yu followed up with a punch, laying out the road to the underworld. Following that, a burst of netherworld chi condensed into an explosive flow, bursting up from the sand on the ground and washing away the attacker. During this period, Long Yu did not even move his feet, but had already sent the attacker flying, causing his entire body to be corroded by the netherworld chi, and he was seriously injured. If he was not treated with a good enough elixir immediately, there was no way he would survive. The other martial cultivator who had jumped out to attack could not help but take 2 steps back when he saw the situation. He looked at Long Yu with extreme vigilance. The ghost mask on Long Yu's face made his scalp tingle. How many techniques does this kid have? 2 types of heavenly steel laws were already shocking enough. Just what kind of technique was that martial technique he displayed just now? It was so powerful that he had sent a person flying with 2 punches, seriously injuring him. Since all of you are here, why don't you come me together? Under the ghost mask, Long Yu's eyes were filled with disdain. He deliberately looked at the luxuriously dressed young man, Qi Ziguang. You can come at me together. I don't mind. This sentence was undoubtedly an insult to Qi Ziguang. Qi Ziguang's face was extremely gloomy. He looked around and saw at least 1,000 people watching from the central road of the Yellow Sand Sky City. Even the roofs were filled with people. It would be fine if his subordinates could defeat Yi Luan's subordinates. However, 4 of his subordinates had been defeated by one of Yi Luan's subordinates. This made him feel extremely embarrassed. If he were to attack again, wouldn't he lose all his dignity? You're good. Let's go. Qi Ziguang's face was gloomy. After saying this, he turned around and was about to leave. Wait, don't go. Of course, Long Yu would not let go of this opportunity. The other party sent himself to his door for him to humiliate. How could he let him go? Qi Ziguang, didn't you say that young Lord Yi has bad taste? What do you think now? Doesn't young Lord Yi have good taste? Long Yu's figure flashed, and he actually took the initiative to block in front of Qi Ziguang and the others as he mocked them. These words made Qi Ziguang feel like he was slapped in the face again, especially when the surrounding Yellow Sand Sky City people were pointing at him. It made his face burn with pain. Is this how Yi Luan teaches his subordinates? Is this how he treats me, Qi Ziguang, the young lord of Sand City? Qi Ziguang could only thicken his skin and start to use his identity as a young lord to teach Long Yu a lesson. Unfortunately, Long Yu did not fall for it at all. Qi Ziguang, I remember that you provoked us first, right? What? Now that you can't beat us and have no face, you want to use your identity to escape. It won't be that easy. Long Yu took a step forward, his eyes glistening under the devil mask. We haven't decided the winner yet. Let your subordinates fight with me again. Even if they come at me together, it's fine. Didn't that brother already say it? Either admit defeat or leave your life. Since no one has admitted defeat and no one has lost their life, the battle should continue. You forced me to do this. Qi Ziguang's face instantly revealed a vicious expression. Let's go together and kill this guy. He cannot stand Long Yu anymore. Initially, he wanted his subordinates to defeat Long Yu so that he could slap Yi Luan's face. He did not expect Long Yu's strength to be so terrifying that he could defeat his subordinates one after another. Now, this guy was still unwilling to give up and wanted to block Qi Ziguang's path. If Qi Ziguang did not get rid of this guy, how could he establish himself in Yellow Sand Sky City in the future? Behind Qi Ziguang, there were a total of 9 initial realm martial cultivators. They looked at each other and nodded. Even the black-faced martial cultivator stood in front of Qi Ziguang. One of them placed the injured martial cultivator on the ground and stood up again. He walked to the middle of the group and stared at Long Yu. When the 9 of them worked together, their strength was definitely not to be underestimated. Even a cultivator in the human glory realm would not be able to withstand their attacks. Go! The black-faced martial cultivator shouted. Then, he gathered the power of the Forbidden Earth Law and sent it towards Long Yu from the ground. They really came together. Underworld realm. Long Yu's eyes lit up. This situation was exactly what he wanted. Since he was going to slap Qi Ziguang's face, he had to do it loud and clear. This was Long Yu's style of doing things. As long as he had the opponent's weakness, he would never let go. If he defeated Qi Ziguang and the others in front of everyone, how could Qi Ziguang compete with Yiluan for the position of the next city lord? Moreover, this way, Long Yu's reputation would rise and no Tom, Dick, or Harry would come looking for trouble and disturb his cultivation. The Yellow Spring Mirror was unleashed and engulfed the 9 initial realm martial cultivators. At this moment, the 9 people felt that their strength was greatly suppressed. They could only use less than 70% of their usual strength. Right at this moment, the law of Forbidden Earth that the black-faced martial cultivator had condensed first exploded beneath Long Yu's feet. However, Long Yu did not try to take it head-on. Instead, he soared into the sky and flew into the air. Awakening reincarnation, drunk lying in the underworld. Long Yu executed the 2 moves once again. Under the influence of the underworld realm and the netherworld Qi, the power of the 2 moves was much stronger than before. The 9 initial realm martial cultivators had no chance of resisting the 2 punches from Long Yu. They could only scatter in different directions to avoid Long Yu's punches. Only the black-faced martial cultivator refused to give up. He remained at the same spot and his eyes flickered. Law of the Forbidden Earth, block it for me. He believed in his law of the Forbidden Earth. Thus he did not back off. Instead, he formed a few layers of the Forbidden Earth barrier and welcomed the netherworld Qi from Long Yu's punches. A violent explosion took place. The netherworld Qi exploded and instantly shattered the Forbidden Earth barrier. A pitch-black Qi spread in all directions, causing a strong gust of wind to blow at Qi Ziguang's hair. The black-faced martial cultivator had already collapsed to the ground. His face was even darker after being corroded by the netherworld Qi. It was obvious that he would not survive this. Qi Ziguang's face darkened when he saw this. The black-faced martial cultivator, Lao He, was one of his trump cards. Lao He's death was a huge blow to his force. Qi Ziguang could no longer stand by and watch. You're called Shangui, right? Very well, very well. You actually dared to kill my subordinate. Qi Ziguang stood up and raised his hand. A wave of yellow sand energy suddenly burst out. It was the law of the yellow sky sand. The law of the yellow sky sand was a law of the heavenly crystal level. It was much stronger than the law of the forbidden earth of the black-faced martial cultivator. As soon as it appeared, it immediately dispersed the netherworld Qi around Long Yu. The entire underworld realm was almost disintegrated. You finally couldn't stand it anymore. Long Yu glanced at Qi Ziguang, and the corner of his lips curled up slightly. He had fought against martial cultivators in the human glory realm before, but he had never fought against a martial cultivator who had cultivated a heavenly crystal-level mental cultivation technique. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.